What is up, everybody? Welcome to My Wednesday Comics on a Thursday. My name is Rocky Ballesteros. Thank you for joining me. So glad to see you guys coming in here in the chat. It's been a while, for sure, since the last Master Study stream or since the last live stream I did. It seems like once a week, it's not enough. And then sometimes it feels like more than once a week is too much. But yeah, I just feel like I haven't talked to you guys in quite a while, and I was so excited to get this stream going. Yesterday I couldn't do it. Had too many scheduling things that like chopped up my day right in the sweet spot of when I normally stream. So had to push it to later. But as you guys know, Wednesday is just a social construct. Doesn't actually really exist. Those 24 hours don't actually really exist. It's all up here. The Wednesdays are here. So today is Wednesday in my mind. Why? Because it's comics time. It's time to talk about comics. And we couldn't go a week without sharing what we found, right? So that's why today is, in my book, My Wednesday Comics, even though it is a Thursday, we're catching up here. Got to go to the store yesterday on a beautiful day and pick up some great books, and they are definitely worth sharing with you guys today. So I'm so excited to do this and to meet up with you and spend the time hanging out. Now there's a couple other questions too, a couple other poll things that I might throw out there in the middle of the stream. So yeah, it's going to be a good time of just like catching up and talking comics and connecting with you all. Again, my name is Rocky Ballesteros. Please hit the like and subscribe for those of you who are joining, new to the channel. My Wednesday Comics is just a time that I get to speak about or share with you guys the weekly comics that I pick up and the weekly comics that I find, whether that's online, in the store, crowdfunding that come in the mail, all sorts of fun stuff. If you watch my older streams, you'll see there's really no rhyme or reason other than comics. It's all about comics. Last My Wednesday Comics, we had a great show because a huge portion of that show was unboxing a package that I got from the great Shelby Robertson. So Shelby's been in chat before on my stream. Good dude. He's professional working comic book artist, and I've just gotten to meet him over YouTube and just this YouTube comic community, and he's just been a super nice guy. Sent me an awesome package that was just chock full of goodies, like really amazing things that I was not expecting at all. It was super generous of him. So go check out that last stream. That was last week's My Wednesday Comics. Whole bunch of stuff in there. Just got me inspired, just psyched about comic book art, and beyond just picking up what companies feed you. It's like a community. It's a way of connecting with people, just a shared love of this amazing storytelling medium that is comics. So I was just really, really inspired by that. Super thankful to him for that. And yeah, I got to like kind of pour through that this past week after the stream, just like sit down and just smile as I was looking through all the stuff that he gave me. So check it out if you didn't join or if you didn't see last week's stream. The other thing that could help me out in is if you watch my past streams is for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, the last community post that I posted yesterday saying, "Oh, I'm not streaming today," was we are really close to 3,000 public watch hours, which is one of the requirements YouTube has to monetize your channel. So we've already smashed the subscriber goal, which was the first 500 subscribers. I think we're at 566 as of this stream, which is ridiculous. I mean, I know it's not huge in the grand scheme of YouTube channels, but it's ridiculous for me thinking of where this channel started and where we are now. So I'm super excited about that. And we are, I think, less than 50 watch hours away from hitting that goal. Once we hit that goal, I don't know what's going to happen. Things are going to blow up. No, I actually have been formulating what that happens. We could get paid memberships. There could be super chats. There could be all sorts of fun like extras. And I really want to be intentional about setting up something cool for people who do end up subscribing. I mean, I'll keep doing the regular streams that I'm doing, but I want to kind of level up a little bit and provide content that, you know, is a little extra something for those people who are willing to support me in that way. So I'm really excited to hit that goal. We are super close. Like I said, probably less than 50 watch hours. So any old shows that you watch, any content that I have on my channel, just go watch some stuff. Just put it on the background while you're cleaning your house or while you're working. And that just helps tick up the counter of public watch hours. I've got this show, my weekly show, My Wednesday Comics, which again is just about the comics that I love and pick up every week. And then the other big show that I have is my Master Study show, which I've done 7 Master Studies so far of comic book legends that are inspirational to me. And what I do is I'll find a piece of artwork that they've done, either a page in a comic book or a cover or something, and then I'll reproduce it from blank page all the way down to finished inks. And in last Master Studies case, all the way down to finished screen tones. That was the first time that I've tried screen tones, comic screen tones, like cutting them out and pasting them on. That was super fun. I like look at that piece of artwork on my wall. Now I put it up on my bulletin board, and it's just so cool. It stands out because it's got those screen tones on it, and it's a really cool look. It's something that's super popular in manga in particular. They did it a lot in probably the like 60s, 70s, and 80s in American or Western comic book art. And then not so much now. Now it's all like computer color and, you know, just all the bells and whistles that you can do with the computer. But man, there's something to that look that just feels so comics to me and just got me excited. And I would have never really explored that if I didn't try it myself. So that's the great stuff that I feel like I learn from doing these master studies. And I stream all of them. Usually they're around 6 or 7 different streams per master study. And I've done 7 so far. You know, I've got to finish pages, finish penciled pages, and finish ink pages for all of those master studies. It's Mike Zeck, Michael Golden, Will Eisner, Mobius, Frank Miller, Barry Windsor Smith, and Jim Steranko. And so, part of what I've been thinking about this past week is what's the next one. So that's all part of the discussion right now, figuring out what that next master study is. So so that's what's going on. But you can go and watch those to kind of watch older content as well. I have some shorter videos of like, I called them my Closer Look series. I haven't done a recent Closer Look. I should. I keep saying I should, but it just takes a little bit more work. It's more editing. But I do closer looks on particular comics and kind of dissect what is working in it, what I like about it, when it comes down to like story, character, art, genre. I do these closer look videos and then kind of rank them a little bit. So there's those videos. I've done some videos of comic book stores, just like promo videos for those. At the very beginning of my channel, I had some flip through videos where I just literally am just flipping through a particular comic just so people can see what's on the inside of that. So yeah, there's all sorts of comic in it. And then I have my YouTube shorts, which have been fun. And I've edited those a little bit, altered those a little bit, where I'm trying out a new format of them where I kind of mixed an old show that I had, which was called Comic Yeah, Comic Nah, where I would get a friend of mine to like look at a comic and say, yeah, I like that, or no, I don't. And I mixed it in with my 15-second comic reviews. So all sorts of fun stuff happening, just trying different things out, see what sticks, what doesn't. That's the beauty of doing something like YouTube. It's like I'm not beholden to what some executive would say. Oh, you've got to appeal to 11 to 14-year-old girls in the southern states of America. I've had many of those notes in my career from executives, which can be really frustrating as an artist. So yeah, we can just try out whatever the heck we want here, and that's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of doing this, and I love having you guys all on the journey for that. Woo, that was a long intro, and I didn't even hit the check this out. I got this new thing. Check this out. Wow, that sound effect is really loud. Maybe I gotta edit that a little bit. How did that get so loud? I thought I turned that down. Anyway, added a little sound effect to this section, which I call Shooting the Fat, or Shoot the Fat, which is like the intro or time to catch up on the chat with you guys. So let's do that. First in the chat. Wait, I don't even have. Aha, here we go. First in the chat, Cranberry Landers. What's up, Cranberry? Haven't seen you in a bit.
This is a cranberry, full of power.
So good to see you. A staple in the chat, always with the great conversation. Cranberry is such an awesome dude where he always is on top of whenever I post new content. And whether that's hitting the like, whether that's commenting, whether that's, just dropping his opinion or whatever. I love it. Cranberry, you're a good guy. And you have been very, very supportive of this channel. And I really appreciate you being here as always. So when you stop by, it's just a good time. It's a good time to have you. Cranberry giving me all the jokes before we start. He's very much in the dad joke category. Even though you're not a dad, you've got it down pat, my friend. Mo Biggs is here. Mo Biggs is the numero uno that I need to work on your sound effect. I kid you, or not kid you not. I'm not lying, Mo Biggs. It is right at the top of priority of what I got to do for this channel is come up with a sound effect for Mo Biggs, which I don't have, but I'm just going to give you a temp one, Mo Biggs. We're going to give you the air horn. How about that? Wow, that is really loud in my ears. But yes, we will come up with a custom sound effect for you, Mo Biggs. And for those of you who don't know, whoever gets a wrench on my channel, and that's kind of that comes with many recommendations from other people who have wrenches on my channel. But if you are wrenched on my channel, one of the perks of that is I like to give everybody like a little bit of a custom sound effect, especially if that person who's wrenched comes quite frequently. And Mo Biggs has been here quite a bit the last few streams, so I love it. Thank you for being here, Mo Biggs. He's building suspense. This is what super shows are made of. Because Mo Biggs says, I can feel the electricity in the air. Be straight with us, Rocky. Is this going to be a super show? Because I think that's what I said last time. Sure, this is going to be a super show, Mo Biggs. I'm going to say it. Yes, this is going to be a super show. We're not going to even know the limits of the superness of this show. So get ready. He's reading the chat in advance to get a head start. That's right, because I get behind. That's another thing with this. As much as I love the conversation and I love to yap my brains out about comics, I love catching up with you guys. And so that takes time. And I always get behind, and we're good 20 to 30 minutes is my range of getting behind. So stick with me if you've commented and I haven't said anything about it. Set your timer for 20 minutes and I'll get to it. I really will. Mark's music obsession knows, and he is here. What's up, Mark? Mark knows. Dang it, is that loud in my ears? Is that loud for you guys? It seems really loud in my ears. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. Afternoon, Mark. Afternoon, Rocky. Everyone, Mark's music obsession. Mark knows. Speaking of Master Study, Mark's always thrown out there, and he even did it at the last Master Study stream, or maybe it was the last My Wednesday comic stream, of his opinion of what should be the next Master Study, which is Web of Spider-Man #1, that amazing cover by, I believe Charles Vess was the painter on the cover, but it's a fully watercolor painted cover. I don't think I could pull that off, Mark, on stream. I don't know. I've been really wrestling with that one. Or could we do a black and white version? I don't know, Mark. It's a tough one. I think that's got to be kind of like a side conversation you and I have, because turning that into a master study would be quite the challenge. Not that I'm not up for it, but it would take some serious planning. So we'll see. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes either, Mark. Okay, he started it. I'll not threaten him any longer. Forgiven for this sin. Yes, I was a little late. Hit and go. Cranberry Ranger said, I saw this pop up. I finished up this year's long independent comic story. It has a dud ending, not great. Vamp Blade. I don't even know if I've ever heard of Vamp Blade, which means I need to put that in my notes to look up what is Vamp Blade. I'm always up for recommendations. And if it's a comic book, especially, I'm into that. So Vamp Blade, gotta look that up. I'm not a huge vampire guy necessarily, but Vamp Blade sounds a little bit interesting. But if it's a dud ending, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. 1 like equals 1 well-deserved finger of scorn pointed at Vamp Blade. Cranberry Ranger says it was a shame. Shelled out extra cash for the last book. Oh, sorry, just always that wrench. Cranberry Rangers, your name is so long, or your profile name is so long, that it makes that wrench move to the next line. Comrade Sammy is here. I knew that Comrade Sammy was going to show up because she commented on the community post when I said I wasn't doing a show yesterday, that she was available today. And your schedule's been a little spotty, Comrade Sammy, so we're trying to work it out here, but I'm glad that lined up with you today. It's been scorned at least once by me. Then personally, I've pointed at least 4 fingers of scorn at it already. Getting a workout with these fingers of scorn. Oh boy, don't get Cranberry started on scorn. Also, if anyone asks, I totally didn't miss last week's stream. Comrade Sammy, that's okay. We'll give you a pass. You can always go back and watch it again. It's a good one. It really is a good one, because of all the stuff that Shelby sent this way. Shelby's channel is AmericanDiscord.com is his website. He also has a YouTube channel. He does some great stuff, great reviews and fun draw streams and stuff. So go check him out. I wish I could believe you, but it was there, and me being there was highly unusual, so it stuck out in my mind. No Pizza Live in the last couple of weeks. Mark's Music Obsession. Speaking of which, my buddy Shanthan Jetty Art, who is one of the instigators and responsible for having me even start this YouTube thing. I've known Shant for over 30 years, and we've been friends, artists. We went to art school together. Just a good dude. He was a groomsman in my wedding. I was a groomsman in his wedding. And Shant has an amazing YouTube channel. He's got a campaign going on right now called Spring Ball Terminal Monstrosity. That was the trailer that I showed right before the stream started. That's an Indiegogo campaign that has just gone in demand. I believe Shant has hit over 31,000 on that book, which is amazing. Spring Ball is a character and a story that he created way back right when we got out of college. It was an independent story character that he produced a couple comic books for in the 2000s, early 2000s. And now he's relaunching it, revamping it, redoing pretty much every page with all the experience and skills that he's learned up to that point, and now launching it through YouTube and as an independent artist. So it's amazing. It's going to be incredible. Go back his book if you haven't already. He announced a few weeks ago a special cover by John Malin, who is a super successful comic book artist in his own right, and he is part of the huge Comicsgate independent comic movement. So just to have John Malin's artwork on as a cover, I had already backed Shant's book, and then when I saw that, I was like, oh, gotta add that one to it because that's gonna be crazy good. So I'm really excited for Shant to see. For him to kind of see this campaign pick up steam and, the sky's the limit for that dude. So I'm really excited. Pete's Alive, what Mark's Music Obsession was just talking about, is usually a Thursday night stream that Shanth does where it's kind of like a watch party, watching old movies, a lot of Hammer horror films that are in the public domain. But he's been really busy with his campaign, Mark, as you might already know. And so I think it's been a little difficult for him to carve out some time to do that. But it'll come back. Don't worry. It will definitely come back. Emo Trash says, I finished what I was doing just in time, eh? That's right. Emo Trash, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Are you done with school today? Hey, Rocky, everybody. Comrade Sammy says she didn't miss last week's stream. Oh, okay. Thursday is the new Wednesday, don't you know? Maybe, but I'm too lazy to change. Like I said, it's a mindset. Wednesday is. It's not an actual day, because I'm too lazy to change the title. Bancroft didn't stream either, so it was back-to-back cancellations for me. Well, I will fill in that space then for you, Mo Biggs. I believe Bancroft, go check out Michael Bancroft's channel, also another independent comic creator in this space, super successful channel. His book is The Lucent, so you can check out his YouTube channel and also go back his book. But I think Bancroft had mentioned either in a post or something that he was sick. So it's tough. I mean, especially with people that have regular streams, like more regular than my stream, that have multiple shows that they do, and all the commitments of life, job, family, all that stuff. It's tough. Like, it's a grind, like, for sure, a grind to keep it up and keep putting out the content for you all. So every now and then there's a little hitch. People get sick, people travel, whatever, and we can't do it. And I know I can speak for myself. You kind of feel a little guilty. You're like, dang it. Like, I missed that chance to connect, and I want to. It's not like we don't want to, but sometimes you can't. So that's okay. I'll take all of Bancroft's subscribers because he canceled. I'll gladly fill in that gap. I'll even speak in a Australian accent for Bancroft. John's here. What's up, John?
He goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
John calls this Rocky's Random Comics now because I'm not streaming on Wednesday. I know. You guys won't even remember this. Next Wednesday, you won't even remember that I streamed on a Thursday, so we're not going to even talk about it anymore. I'm glad today was the day you had to stream, Comrade Sammy says. I was way too busy yesterday to make it to any sort of stream. There you go. It's good. It's funny because I was just talking to Frank at Amazing Fantasy, which is a local comic book store here. Frank is the owner of that store. It's one of the stores that I frequent on a weekly basis. I frequent more than one, if you haven't already caught that. But Frank is such a good guy, big supporter of my channel, and he watches my streams. He'll comment, just all around great dude. Frank, if you're watching, what's up, man? And I was checking out, I was buying my books, and Frank was like, "Oh, how's it going? With your YouTube channel?" And I was like, it's going great. And he was just kind of saying like the different channels that he watches. Mostly he's like streaming music, but he'll watch my channel. He'll watch another local comic guy's channel as well, who I actually met in Frank's store last week. But he was just saying like it's just different. It's like this new way of connecting with people around comics. It's not just, you're just not meeting people. It's not just delegated to meeting people in the comic book store to talk comics. Now you can talk to them on YouTube, like this really crazy thing. And Comrade Sammy, he even mentioned, he's like, yeah, you got some regulars, like Comrade Sammy is always there. I was like, wow, Frank knows Comrade Sammy. It was amazing. It's like this weird world of like reality and YouTube mixing. Totally bizarre. But the way I've heard it described before, I think maybe Shanth was the one who described this to me, but it's like a 24-hour, 7 days a week comic book convention. You're just walking around, meeting artists, meeting creators, meeting other people, collectors, reviewers, people who love comics, and just like getting to know them and getting to have a conversation with them. So it's awesome when one person cancels or can't fulfill their show. You can kind of putt around and find another show to jump into. So yeah, it's such a crazy world, a crazy time for comics, for the comics community. And as the whole industry shifts from the old models, going to a brick and mortar store or gas station or whatever, wherever you got your comic books, mail order. Now it's like YouTube, crowdfunding, all this stuff is like rising up. Oh, which reminds me, don't let me forget. I'll talk about this campaign that I just backed, that just popped up and I backed. But before I talk about that, I gotta catch up on the chat because I'm way behind. I can see my little scroll bar is like not even halfway down. I'm way behind. Weekdays are subjective, like reality. That's right. Let's see. Okay, skipping forward. Artists and time have a tenuous relationship at best. Oof, very, very complicated relationship. This is why I don't let Rocky tell me what to do. If I hit like as instructed, it will unlike the video because I already hit like. Sorry, Mo Biggs. Just go with your gut, man. Go with your gut. Yesterday, I unbusied myself for like just in time for a normal stream, and I was met with disappointment. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the other thing that nobody tells you about streaming and connecting with your audience is you can disappoint them, and they'll let you know in live time, real time. They'll let you know when they're disappointed. I gotta live with that. So sorry, emo trash. Though I did the exact same thing today and got results. There you go. John is eating tacos. Subscribe to Shelby. You are unlikely to regret it. Mo Biggs, drop in the link for Shelby's YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Mo Biggs. Yes, please subscribe to Shelby's channel. He's kind of on a clip. Like he's been putting out a lot of content recently, a lot of reviews, books that inspire him. And I find the longer I've known Shelby, a lot of the things that he's inspired by, that he likes as comics, that he grew up with comics, are very similar to what I did. It's kind of like that Image time period, and maybe like 10 to 15 years before Image happened was like the sweet spot for us. And so a lot of times when he'll review books or share things on stream, I'm like, I love that. And if I'll either already have it or I'll go and buy it because we have very similar taste. So yes, thanks for dropping that link. Everyone, thank Emo for today's live stream. Good job, Emo. Yeah, I manifested this, Emo says. I only recently got a wrench and the channel is about to get monetized. That's amazing. You get the badump bump for today, Mo Biggs. That's really good. I love it. Let's see. Well, you're diligent, have been planning things out, working hard, so it makes sense that you're doing better. Are you talking to me? I'm doing better, not only like YouTube-wise or whatever. I am doing better physically, too. I don't have my cough anymore. Thank the maker. The allergy cough has seemed to like settle down. And then also, I had told you guys, like, I had last stream was like old man pains, and I had an incident with my cat, like tweaking out my back. That was bothering me for a few weeks, and I had to go to get some physical therapy to help me kind of get better. And that has been a game changer for me. It was a really nagging pain that I had prior to going to the physical therapy appointment. And so it's been great. I mean, that guy, when I had an appointment with him on Wednesday, another reason why I couldn't stream. But when I saw him, I almost like burst into tears because I was like, you have helped me so much. And before I was in quite a bit of pain. So it's amazing what a little bit of knowledge and know-how will do. It wasn't anything dramatic, but it was just being able to isolate what was going on with my body and figure out how to adjust and strengthen around it. So it was a game changer. It was a game changer. Anybody who's dealing with chronic pain, whether that's emotional or physical, it can be super depressing. It can really bring you down if you're faced with that pain all the time. And there was some days I had that was like, that's it. I'm done. But I'm better now, so I'm really thankful for that, and thankful for all the people that work in physical therapy. You guys are saints. Just put on a Rocky's playlist to sleep to. That works too. That does. That helps with the watch hours. I'll take it. Anyway, if I am the equivalent of brown, is it white noise? Is that a racist term now? White noise? Brown noise? Noise. If I am, yeah, if that's what it helps you to sleep, but adds to my watch hours, I'll take it. I'm happy to be that for people. Let's see. ASMR Rocky. That's right. Mo Biggs. Man, you're on fire today. Rocky's dulcet ASMR tones. That's right. I'm known for that. Some people have known to subscribe to my channel for that. I've seen some weird, it's not even on my, definitely not on my radar, not on my like preferences, but maybe it's because I've said the word ASMR. Who knows how the YouTube algorithm works? But I've had some things like pop up and I'm like, what is this? And I'll watch them, and any kind of ASMR stuff is just, I don't know if my ears are too sensitive or what, but it creeps me out. It can be really, really creepy. I don't like it at all. It doesn't make me feel good or like calm me down. It makes me very uncomfortable. So that's not the direction I want to go with this channel. But if it gets voted that way and people want me to go that way, I might have to embrace it. You know, if that makes me a YouTube superstar by going the ASMR route, maybe I'll have to do that. I very much like having another mischief maker in the chat. Comrade Sammy says, that's understandable. And there she is. There's Emotress. Adam, what's up, Adam? Haven't seen you in a bit, man.
This is Adam. Hey.
Adam says, went to the comic shop Sunday and found that Mark Miller is doing a part two to Huck. I'm pretty excited. So yes, he did launch Huck. And I actually haven't read the first run or the first miniseries or whatever that he did with Huck. So I didn't pick up the new one that's come out because I don't have any context necessarily to it. But I will have to find that probably through my library, that series, Huck, and see if I like it. I was introduced to that character through his latest series, his big crossover series, The Big Game. And he just threw in all of his characters, all the different storylines. So there was a little bit of Huck in there, but I don't know his whole story necessarily. But great seeing you, Adam. Yeah, it's been a while. We got the Yapocalypse, and then it's Shoot the Fat. It's all one and the same. I know what the next master study could be. Oh no. What is it? Rocky needs a writer, editor. I do. I think I do. Just an extension. The Apocalypse. Cranberry Lager says, I have to go already. Oh, sorry, man. Did not get to the comics yet. Come back and watch it again. Or maybe Cranberry Langers might loop back in later. Sometimes he does that. But have a good day, Cranberry. Thank you for coming in and just saying hello. Just let him through this yamble. I'm so behind. This is grossly behind. Should I jump ahead? I'm jumping ahead. Okay, let's see. Throwbacks, extra loud sound effects, high caliber yeah, wow, I'm way behind. Very loud and kind of gross, and she loves it. Where did I do that? Where is that? Yeah. A little loud, but it's good. I gotta adjust that. shame Cram won't even be around for his first in chat award. I know. Yes. Catch up on chat, reads 2 chats and gets distracted. That's my move. Good enough. Just don't give me that fat squish sound from Shoot the Fat. Oh, I'm so behind. We're already at the we're at the 40-minute mark. It's too late, Rocky. You've yapped us into next week. Holy crow. Speaking of that, whenever you get to this, did you ever look up solo leveling, Rocky? No, I haven't. It is on my list, but I have not seen that. I was trying to pick up Dan to Dan at my library, but it was all checked out. So, yeah, there's a few that are on my list that I didn't get around to. I've never heard of Vamp Blade, but it's evocative of Blade, who is also a vampire. Blade's cool. I'm trying to get Rocky to be less of a weeb. Thank you very much. I'm trying to mold Rocky into a weeb with taste. The conflict is there. Let's see. Comrade Sammy did watch some of the last stream. I rage quit watching it after I realized how many people mistake me for a male. Oh, geez, Comrade Sammy. How dare they? How dare they? I know I did the first time I met you, but not anymore. Did you ever see the clip of young Shant on the local news promoting his first comic book? It was notable because they had to bump the potato that resembled Garth Brooks to make room for Shant. Do you have a link, Mo Biggs? I'm pretty sure I must have seen it sometime in my time knowing Shant. The first time I was exposed to Shant was reading a newspaper article. We happened to be living in the same hometown. He grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but I was just there briefly. But we crossed paths before we went to college is where I first heard about him. And then when we went to college, I kind of sought him out because I'm like, wait, you grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I lived there and like, we're going to the same college. And we met up like on one of the first days of school and we'd been friends ever since because of comics. So it's kind of a crazy story, but it's an awesome story. I'm really jumping forward now. Rocky's really far back. That's right. Don't have a clip, but Shant's showdown on one of his streams. Oh, okay. I'll have to ask him about that. Hi, I'll be lurking. Lindsay Rose. What's up, Lindsay Rose? How are you doing? Emo Trash has been out of school for 3 weeks now. Okay, that's some people are still in school. Okay, so don't laugh at me. Some people are still in school. My kids are still in school, but that's good to know. What are you gonna be doing for the summer? Just gonna be bothering us, jumping on stream, yelling at us. Must have been one of the late nights, as I call them, vampire streams. Yes. Subscribe to Bancroft. Wow, I am behind. Hello. Bancroft is on you for the web one as well. Oh, for the Web of Spider-Man #1. Is he? Are you like, did you pay him under the table? Zaid Comics in the house. What's up, Phil? How are you doing? Good to see you again. Go subscribe to Phil's channel, Zaid Comics. He's got all sorts of different shows, a wider range than any show that I do. And the cool thing is he gets to do his show with his brother, which is awesome. I don't have a brother. I kind of wish I did. But it's just fun to see that brotherly dynamic on stream. I enjoy the Shoot the Fat section, Rocky. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Even though it delays everything by hours. Do you take the SF trolley to the local No, I don't. I think I've taken the trolley maybe 3 times in my time living here. It's a very touristy thing to do. Some people who live on the train line, and it goes pretty much north to south in the city. People that live on that line, there are people that take it as a commuter, which would be really cool, but it is very much a touristy thing to do. It's cool. I would recommend it, but I don't do it on the regular. Let's see. My avatar probably doesn't help my case at the moment, but I don't care. It's made with my blood, sweat, and tears. I won't post this image anywhere else. I love your avatar. YouTubers are not consistent with audio levels, so I have an audio balancer and compressor on it. Oh, okay. I try my best to work that stuff out, but anytime there's something new added in, a sound effect, a video clip, whatever, it always messes everything up. All right, because you keep yapping. I know it's a bit gloomy here, Comrade Sammy. I don't mind. Okay. Lindsay Rose has a new washing machine. What is going on? This is a sniper level session of Shoot the Fat. Everyone change your 20-minute timer to an hour. We're at 47 minutes. It's bad. Lindsay Rose says, thank you, Lindsay Rose. I'm glad you're getting better. Thank you very much. It makes a difference. Do you need to heat up your oven? Write me. The fat has just left. It's World War I style trench. It's being turned into Swiss cheese by a haul of verbal bullets in Rocky's no man's land of yappery. See, Mo Biggs, man, you are getting the hang of it. Getting used to it. This isn't Shoot the Fat. It's Blitz the Fat. Oh my gosh. I'll happily listen to a Rocky ASMR stream. Huck has a long box full of extra chromosomes and plucky spirit. Oh, okay. I've heard, isn't he? Does he have Down syndrome? Is that Huck's shtick? I could be totally wrong about that. I will, if that brings me success, I would gladly do it. Wait, when did Cran leave? He left about 20 minutes ago when I said I was shooting the fat. It was a long time ago. RIP to all the jokes Rocky skipped over a moment of silence. Dan to Dan was checked out. It's super hot right now. Yeah, I figured as much. Oh, boy. All right, you guys. Rocky laughing at you is what I do. Hey, Rocky, I got the washer, so I'm cleaner than I was. Oh, okay, nice. That's what people were talking about. Nice. You gotta need a good washer dryer. My goodness. It's hard to live. I remember, newly grad, first starting out on my own and having to go to like a laundromat. There's nothing wrong with going to the laundromat, but it would be a pain to like lug all your laundry out, fill up the machine, make sure you had enough quarters. And then this is before a lot of the laundromats now are equipped with like apps where you can tell if, your laundry's done or whatever, but you just have to sit there and wait. If not, if you left, the fear was like somebody would take your clothes or move your laundry out of the machine and just like throw it on top of other machines. So I would usually just kind of stick around, and I mean, I guess I had a lot more time back then, but glad you have a new washer. The derailer in chief will not be bested. Her summer plans include derailing our chats. There we go. That's a good summer plan for sure. Phil apparently has a channel. There it is. There's the man. What is up, Shelby? Interested to see your pickups this week. Mine was 4 books. We'll be listening while drawing these commissions. All right, cool. We're gonna get to it. Thank you, Shelby. I DM'd you, but just to do it on stream here for the record. Thank you so much, my friend, for all that you sent. It was amazing, an amazing package. Oh, you big time, and it was just inspiring. Both seeing work that Shelby had done. He sent me some books that were work he's done in the past, some variant covers. He sent me some blank cover, what do you call them? Blanks, comics with like the blank cover that you can do commissions on, which I'm very excited to like dip my toe into that. And then he sent me some cool books also behind that, like a Barry Windsor Smith black and white of Weapon X, French edition of that. Amazing. So thank you so much, Shelby. It was really, really generous of you. Everybody's saying hello to Shelby. Laundromats kind of make me nervous. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. I picture Rocky falling from a second-story balcony like in one of those old westerns when he skips chat and tries to jump back in. It's probably as graceful or not as graceful as that image, John. So it is it's kind of like that. It's probably how I tweaked my back. I'll fill in for Cranberry's missing jokes. The last time Rocky had to do laundry by hand, He got in some hot water. Laundromats are commitments. That's right. Shelby, look at what I got in the mail a couple days ago. Ooh. What did you get in the mail? Mark shared us a picture of the Shell Bean that he won on some stream. Maybe it was Bancroft's stream. Or was it the Phil stream? I can't remember. But the Shell Bean, the 3D printed Shell Bean, which is disturbingly accurate to Shelby. Okay, cool. This is what we can share this. This is what Mark got. Comic did. Oh, I think you posted this on X, right, Mark? Did Shelby do the inks on this book or something? This sounds familiar. Nice. That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, geez. That sound effect gets cued in every time. Rocky, you could show the photo. It is comic related. All right. Thanks, Mark. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Speaking of commissions, I should probably get cracking on some of these, but I also just don't feel like drawing right now. Are you doing commissions, Emo Trash? That's awesome. That is awesome. Hi, chat. Ignoring chat. Head down drawing. Rocky Ballesteros, I saw your stream. That is a Claremont. I knew it. Amazing. A Claremont. Chris Claremont autographed God Loves Man Kills. He was placed by me at Amazing Hawaii a few years ago. That is awesome, dude. Thank you for sharing me that. That is so generous. Shelby, don't ignore my chats in that tone of voice. Hashtag Shelby don't care. Yes, I did. It has his signature. Oh, okay. The book you just shared. Nice. I only did the cover, Green Day Dookie homage cover. I did 2 more covers for that series, unreleased so far. Oh, that's why it looks familiar. Got it. Already had caffeine during Gothics earlier. Maybe I'll have some later. Yeah, it might be. I'm at 53 minutes and I haven't even gotten to comics yet. However, before I do want to show one more thing on screen share before we get into the comics I picked up. What am I looking at? So, what I had mentioned... yes. What I had mentioned... probably about 30 minutes ago was, I'm going to switch to this. All right. What I had mentioned was there was a new campaign that came out. A new Kickstarter campaign that came out. And it was announced by none other than Mark Miller. Mark Miller, who is the author, one of the most prolific and influential comic book writers right now. He worked on Wanted, Kick-Ass, Nemesis, Huck, like Adam mentioned, Prodigy, oh my gosh, Jupiter, I think Jupiter, one of the Jupiter Risings, Jupiter Ascending, something like that. He was the author of Civil War for Marvel. Anyway, incredible, one of the top writers of our generation, or this generation right now. And he also has a YouTube channel. Go check out Mark Miller's YouTube channel. He is a huge supporter of comic books and just a fan through and through. That's what I love about him. As successful as a multi-millionaire now because he has this deal with Netflix and just all these movie deals, everything. Like, he's incredible. At the heart of it is he just loves comics. I'd say, like, more than making movies, he loves comics. Oh yeah, Vatican City is another book that he just launched with Per Berg, who, aka Narwhal, who also has a YouTube channel. Anyway, Mark Miller just announced on social media that he was doing this crowdfunded book with John Romita Jr. John Romita Jr., one of the greatest comic book artists of all time. Son to John Romita Sr., one of the other greatest comic book artists of all time. And Mark Miller and John Romita Jr. paired up on Kick-Ass together way back when. So now they're working again on another book called Psychic Sam, and they're crowdfunding it, which is amazing. And here's some of it. The Ultimates, Superman, Red Sun, Wanted, Kingsman, Kick-Ass, Magic Order, Jupiter's Legacy, and Nemesis, Old Man Logan. All these incredible comic book stories that he wrote. And then John Romita Jr., known best for his work on Uncanny X-Men and then Amazing Spider-Man, Iron Man, Daredevil, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they are pairing up on this book called Psychic Sam. I believe there's going to be 3 volumes of this. This is the first one. But the way that they're doing this campaign is amazing. They're doing a colored book. They're releasing a black and white artist edition book, which they have some samples here. Classic John Romita Jr. artwork. And then they're also doing this right here. If you can see, it says Psychic Sam Magazine Edition, which is awesome. I'm actually really excited about that. It's kind of a throwback to the old Marvel magazines. They did it for the NAM. They did it for Punisher, where they would produce like a magazine size version of the books, kind of compiling a few issues, but they'd produce them in black and white. So I think just for nostalgia, he's doing that. So yeah, here's some of the stuff that's going in. So I back this. I actually backed it at a tier. Don't tell my wife. I backed it at a tier where I could get a little like sketch from John Romita Jr. because I'm like, what? And it wasn't that much. It was pricey, but it wasn't that pricey compared to, because it included all the other stuff that I would have got anyway. And then that tier sold out fast. So I was able to snag one of those. So I'm really, really excited to get some sort of original John Romita Jr. artwork, which would be amazing. So, and then on top of that, see, they already smashed their goal. On top of that, he's working with a Hollywood producer on a movie of this too. So simultaneously, both the comic and a movie, which is awesome. Let's watch the trailer really quick. And you guys can get a feel, if you haven't already seen it, you can get a feel for what this book is about. So let me see if this works.
My name is Sam Nicoletti, and I see murders before they happen. A little voice tells me the killer's name and address. And if I stop them, I save a life. If I ignore them, an innocent human dies. What would you do in my situation?
Psychic Sam is a classic boys comic. It's about a guy with a big gun who goes out and solves problems. And he hears voices in his head tell him to kill bad guys. The only trouble is the bad guys haven't done anything yet. But every time he ignores it, someone innocent dies, and it's only a matter of time before the bodies start piling up.
I'm working with a guy named Mark Miller. Mark and I started on Wolverine together, and we got to create Kick-Ass, and we had a brilliant time. It changed our lives. So now we come up with a third collaboration, and it's called Psychic Sam, and I have the legend Klaus Janson working with me, and then the brilliant Bill Crabtree doing the color art. And we are having an all-out blast with this.
The big news is we're also doing a movie of Psychic Sam. There's a guy called Ivan Atkinson who's brilliant. He's Guy Ritchie's producer, and he's produced some of my favourite films from Guy. Wrath of Man, The Gentleman, all these amazing films Guy's been doing over the last few years.
Ivan Atkinson, yeah. I'm excited to be teaming up with Mark Miller and his exciting new project, Psychic Sam. Mark and I have been talking about working together for a number of years, and I found the project that I think brings fascinating characters and action together, reminded me of the films I grew up loving.
This is completely outside of Miller World and Netflix and all the stuff I've been doing for the last 20 years, really. None of those books will be affected, and all our new titles will still be out there every month. I just carved out a wee holiday for myself and thought I'd be doing something for maybe Marvel or DC again. Then I thought, wouldn't it be great to do some creator ones with Johnny Romita Jr.?
There's so many great tiers to this, so many great levels to this. We're going to do a black and white version with a painted cover.
Done in the style of a 1970s Marvel magazine, beautifully packaged in that big magazine size format. There's hardcovers, there's t-shirts, there's trading cards, there's stickers.
Spectacular stuff. You can also get written and drawn into the issues, which would be a lot of fun. I have to do justice to all of you.
We're assembling a fantastic team of filmmakers on this production, and we will have some more information for you guys soon.
We just are having so much fun with the character. It's probably as good as it gets, but the fact that it's the third time with Mark, it's a charm.
I think there's something special brewing here, so don't miss it.
Pretty cool, right? Oh shoot, what did I just do? I just lost something. Dang it. Here. Yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, I was excited about that campaign and his announcement for that campaign. So I backed that bad boy. Here we go. Shelby says, I just saw Shelby's comment. Kind of want that line art book that they got on there. Might do the hardcover plus the artist edition, thinking about it. Yeah, that was it. It was like the different tiers that he picked to do for that book were like, oh, I could. I mean, that's kind of how you have to do it with crowdfunding. Is like you have to have enough of the. You have to know your audience and set the tiers that would make them go, oh, well, if I just spend a little bit more, then I can get that and this. And so that is kind of what happened to me as I was watching this campaign unfold. I'm like, oh, I do want a line art version. I do want a hardcover color version. I do want a Marvel magazine version. And then before you know it, I'm backing the John Romita Jr. sketch. So a little crazy, but it looks like it can be cool. And Mark Miller and John Romita Jr., they just put out awesome work. John Romita Jr., I love how he didn't even look up from his drawing desk to do that video. He was like, I'm still working. I'm still drawing. Shut up. All right, let's see. Mark says, my last comment just disappeared. Strange. Sorry, I wonder what it, just let us know what that was, Mark. Don't tell my wife states incriminating evidence on a record. Oh, yeah. I'm assuming that won't stop Madame Ballesteros. She just comes in here and just like punches me on stream. And then that's it. Then it ends. I can see what attracted Rocky to this trailer. Lots of yapping. Miller's accent is fun. Yeah, he's awesome. He's a great interviewer, and he's just a fan. He's just a fan. That's what I love about it. He seems like he would be a super cool guy to meet, and he just seems like a huge fan of comics. So I like the guy a lot. I'm backing the Web of Spider-Man #1 Rocky variant at the top tier. That will be a special Mark's Music Obsession tier is the Web of Spider-Man variant. Mark Miller sounds like Scrooge McDuck playing Ebenezer Scrooge, but at the ending when he's discovered the joy of Christmas. That's a great example. Great description, excuse me. All right, let's see. Drags him off. That's right. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. Luckily, I don't think she really watches my stream. She knows when I'm streaming, but I don't think she like sits down and watches. She doesn't really care about comics. So I think we're okay. Nobody say anything. Web of Yapperman #1. That's right. That's me. All right. I think I caught up, everyone. I think I caught up, and we're only an hour in. Good night, everybody. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's get to the comics. Come on. Let's get to the comics. That's what it's all about. All righty. So, this is fun. Oh, okay. Oh, I actually have a great... Oh, let's see. Can I do that on this? I was going to send a poll. Okay, so going to the comic book store. How do I even start this conversation? Going to the comic book store this week really got me thinking about certain things because I found myself. So I have a store that I go to that I usually have that has I have set up a pull box there because for whatever reason I kind of set it up at this one store. So I don't want to have multiple pull boxes at multiple stores. That just sounded crazy. Even though I'm going to a bunch of different stores in a week. So I kind of set up this one store. It's called Comics Experience. And it's been going fine or whatever. But the longer that I've been at that store, I realize that Brian, who owns the store, he doesn't get variant covers. If you want a variant cover, you have to special order it ahead of time, which I have done before in the past, especially if I knew about it. But a lot of times, the awesome thing about variant covers is you never know what you're going to get. And it's kind of the joy of like, oh, wow, I didn't know so-and-so was doing a variant cover. So because he made the business choice of not carrying variant covers, he just carries the cover A's of any of the new books that come out. Because he's made that conscious choice, there's been some times where I've decided not to go to his store or not buy a book or not put a book on the pull list because I was anticipating like, I probably want to try and get a variant cover for this. Or, ooh, I wonder if I can get I wonder who's doing a variant cover for this week. So inadvertently, it's kind of shifted my business a little bit to different stores that do carry variant covers. Frank's store, Amazing Fantasy, he does happen to stock up on a lot of different variant covers. And there's a whole economics to it too that I've learned. Part of the reason why Brian doesn't carry variant covers is because sometimes they don't sell. And if they don't sell, then he's just stuck with all these extra covers that he can't do. Some variant covers, you have to order a certain number of the books before you get the variants. And so again, if he over orders, then that means he has all this back stock and he can't do it. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but those are some of the reasons. And I don't know why Frank does it. It seems like Frank sells out of most of his variants in his store. So it seems like a good thing. It's like a selling point for him. So anyway, there's a couple books that I picked up this week that were variant covers. And I know that if I had gone to Comics Experience, I wouldn't have ever found them. So yeah, I don't know. It's like, which one would you choose? Some people don't care for variants because sometimes they charge extra now for variant covers, like $1 extra, which is kind of sucky. But if it's worth it for me, like if it's a really cool artist, then I'll do it. So case in point, one of the books I picked up this week was the new Batman Hush 2 issue. So I've been collecting this since the first issue, which was 158, I believe. So we're at 160 now. And the first Batman Hush issue, I got the big giant-sized one, which was awesome. They've been releasing a giant-sized one for every issue. I have not bought it because it's quite expensive. And I don't think I need a giant size for everyone. The second issue, I just got the regular cover on that one. And now the third issue I picked up was this one, number 160, and this is Frank Quitely. Frank Quitely is an incredible artist. He's worked with Mark Miller before. A lot of you guys might know his work from Absolute Superman. He worked on X-Men, Ultimate X-Men. He's worked on a bunch of Mark Miller titles as well. But he did a variant cover, and I actually didn't know that he did a variant cover. I found it because I was looking through the different variant covers that Frank had. And how cool is that cover? It's so, it's just so Frank Quitely. It's like really well drawn, very, the scale in it just feels different than a regular comic book. It's like feels realistic, but not. And then just a really striking composition, almost no background. But I love this cover. This is his variant cover. This is the actual cover of the regular cover that comes with the book, which is a very striking Jim Lee cover. I mean, I think it's kind of brilliant with the type in the background, all the hushes. It just pops off the page. I made it my thumbnail and the thumbnail for this show, but it's just a really, really cool, striking cover. But I just love this extra bit with Frank Quitely's drawing on it. So that's why I picked it up. Would have never picked it up at Comics Experience because they don't carry variants. So yeah, in a sense, they lost my business a little bit because they don't provide that option for people. So one of the things that I wanted to do, I'm going to just throw this out there. I was thinking about this right before I went live. Let me see if I can find where I was doing it. Nope. Oh yeah. Okay. So actually I'm going to wait, is this going to work? Back to live. I'm going to throw this question out to you guys. I'd love to know your thoughts. Oops. So I'm going to throw this in the poll, but I had to write it on screen so I wouldn't forget what I was going to say. But I'm going to make a poll here because I'd love to hear what you guys think. For those of you who could, those of you who wouldn't mind dropping your opinion, what is the number one factor that attracts you to a comic book store? And I mean, it could be a whole slew of things, but the three main things I was curious about is one, like the inventory, right? Do they carry variants? Like, is that super important to you? Making sure everything is stocked and you got a lot of copies of everything. Is that the number one reason that you go in there? Or is it the comic book store conversations that you have? So like the owners, right? Is that a big factor for you to go to a comic book store? And I know it could be all of these, but just let me know which one is the most important to you out of these three. Or is it back issues? Like, are you really into the hunt of finding old stuff? And it doesn't have to just be like dollar boxes. It can also be like, you know, old graphic novels or just like a deep inventory that goes, well, I guess that says A. Depth of inventory. Maybe I mean just like, I'm gonna change the first one to current inventory. Current inventory or full inventory. I'm just gonna say inventory. No, current inventory, I guess. So what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, all the variants, all the specials, all that kind of stuff is what I mean by A. And then B is like, do you like the conversations, the people? Do you need to be around like nice store owner that sees you, knows you, remembers your name, you know, has your books ready when you walk in the door, like that kind of thing? Or is it the back issue, the hunt? So let me write this in the poll. I'm going to put this in the YouTube poll in the chat. What is the... Sorry, this is a little bit more complicated for a poll that I've done before, but I'm really curious to see what you guys think because I had to ask myself that question just this week, you know, as I was deciding where I was going to go. That many characters. And it makes a difference, you know, it makes a difference. There's some store, I won't say who, I mean, you guys might have already get the idea, like when I talk about these stores, but there's certain stores I walk in and walk out and, you know, they really don't care who I am and I don't want to be bothered by them. But then there's some stores that I can't help but talk to, and I will call out, like Frank. Like I can't just help but say hey to him and talk to him and just talk shop. Like it's so fun, and he's got a great opinion on stuff and a lot of insight. All right, so I put that poll up in there, and we'll just let that run. We'll let that run during the course of the stream, and I'm really curious to see what the results on that is because it makes a difference, you know, and all those little factors are what builds an audience, builds a store, builds a community around comics. And it's kind of stuff that actually, you know, I think about a lot for my own channel. Granted, I don't have inventory. I'm not selling you guys comic books, but what is it that attracts people to this channel or doesn't? Or what are the things they like about it or don't? And what keeps them around? What keeps people coming back? So that might be another poll down the road, but just humor me with this one right now. Give me your thoughts in the poll, and we'll get into the comics, and then I'll check it later, a little bit later, to see where we're at. Okay, so going back to comics. Mark's Music Obsession says A. He's already dropping it. Okay, let's see. Mark's Music Session says, take your time, Rocky. I'm here for the... You're the best, Mark. What I really appreciate about this new Hush series is they didn't go with the Absolute Batman logo. Mo Biggs, you and Jay Ryan hate that logo. But that's good. That's good. I love it. I think I've mentioned this before, but like with any kind of art, but let's just focus on comics, right? If you don't get a reaction, you get yeah, it was pretty good. Like if you get a lukewarm, fail. But if you get oh my gosh, I hate that, or I love that, like I think that's a win, either sides of that coin. But the middle of the road, like if you're forgettable as a piece of art, then I think you've kind of failed. But if you get a strong reaction, good or bad, I think that's a win. So I'm going to I love the new Absolute Batman, the logo, everything, all about it. And I love that people don't like it and passionately don't like it. So I'm 100% in support of your feelings there, Mo Biggs. American Discord says there's some local beef with shop owners over stealing customers. Literally one shop in Tucson orders multiple covers for each release. Everyone goes there now and they're somehow the bad guy. I mean, it's... what are you going to do about it? You know, it's like if the other stores are not fulfilling that need, that's not the fault of the store that is, you know? So, if they can sustain that kind of inventory, I think that's the thing. Like for me as a customer, I'm like, why wouldn't you carry a variance? Like you're going to find people that are going to buy the variance, but hearing Brian say like, oh, then you have all this stock that you don't know how to get rid of. And then you don't make any money on back issues. Very rarely do you make money on like carrying back issues because one, that market's not that hot right now. And two, most of the time, like with dollar bins, it's not even paying for the printing of the book, right? So they're kind of losing money just storing this stuff in their stores. So I get that, and you kind of have to. I do understand that as for him being a business owner of making that choice, but it does kind of make in this day and age where variants are pretty common now. Like every book that comes out has at least 2 to 3 variants. And you're kind of missing out on that, especially with the collectors and the collectors who want the variants. It's tough. And you don't make it easy for you to pre-order those variants. Like Brian is moving towards getting onto like a digital system so that if I have a pull box, I can go into the online in the app and say, oh yeah, I want to get the variant of this, and I can see it easily and then just kind of mark it. If he gets that working, then I can see it swinging back in his direction a little bit. But if he doesn't, and I have to like call him every time I want a variant or email him every time I want a variant, and I have to keep on top of that, then that makes it a little bit harder for me to want to even go through that process. Okay. So let's talk about Batman Hush 2. I've actually been digging it. I think that Jim Lee's art on this has been pretty awesome. I was a huge fan of Jim Lee back in the 90s and the 2000s when he was doing Image, Wildcats, and all that stuff. Then I kind of fell off of it a little bit, got oversaturated a bit. Jim Lee went the route of, executive at DC. He kept drawing, but I didn't have that same like super like excitement about seeing his artwork. And I think just the market was oversaturated with a lot of people that drew like him, and he's influenced so many different artists. But I will say that seeing his artwork on Hush 2, I don't know what it is. I don't know what he's doing differently. But it's still him and Scott Williams. I've felt like his artwork has just like been on a really high level for this particular series, like better than any of the other, even better than the original Hush series, I thought, because that series didn't really grab me. So yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised at, just from a strictly art point of view, just been psyched about opening up these books. And it might be the colors too have been really great on this. Or I don't know. I think it definitely is like Jim Lee like putting in some extra something into it. It just feels like that to me. So this is cool. It's pretty consistent with the last 2 issues. The story has been, okay. It's been good. At the end of the 2nd issue, they introduced the Riddler for this universe. So he's coming in to quote unquote help them, help the heroes. And Red Hood's been in here. Been really angry at Batman. So yeah, it's been cool. Like the action scenes has been cool. They've got Joker. I guess he's awake now. He was in a coma for a while. Some interesting like type coloring here. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about like these kind of like money shots. He's just adding some extra love into it, feels like. And they're just really exciting. Like, that's cool. That's really cool. Cool Bane. It's great. Great image. I can see that being in the giant size because I know they came out with a giant size of this issue. That being a really cool splash. And this is the first introduction of Hush in this new series right here. So that's great. Great face on Robin. Like, look at all these variants. There's the Frank Quitely variant. This is what you're missing out on. Stores that don't do the variants. And they go crazy, right? They can go overboard. So Super Unlimited, that's a new series that they're promoting. Wow, this book is like half of it is just promos. Yeah, I don't know. Looks cool. Looks cool. I need to read the original Hush again. I almost couldn't even get through it the first time I read it as a compilation. I was like, this is not clicking with me. But I think I need it for context of what's going on here. Oh, I guess this is the first time he's shown up. Yeah, I think these shots, they just feel like the compositions just feel bigger than life. It's cool. Seems like more than likely, I think there's 6 issues to this series. And it's a little confusing because they kept it numbered. They kept it in the regular Batman line. They didn't like make it a separate thing. So it started off on number 158, which is a weird number to start. But I think there's maybe 6 issues to the Hush 2 storyline. I'll probably pick up all of them the way it's going right now. All right, what are you guys saying? Oh, wow. Wow, you guys are chatty today. It's not just me. You guys are chatty. A poll? Cran will be so disappointed he missed the poll. He'll give us his opinion, though. It might not be in the poll, but he'll give us his opinion. Where's the poll right now? Right now we are at 5 votes. What is the number? Back Issues is winning. Wow, no kidding. Nobody cares about the comic book store conversations. You guys are all introverts. I couldn't care less if anybody talked to you. It makes a difference. It really does. And I know I said this is like, what's the number one factor? So not to say that you guys are saying it doesn't make a difference, but I realized how big of a factor it does make for me of like wanting to go to a store. If I know I'm going to walk into a store and it's going to be really awkward and somebody's going to like pressure me to buy a certain book or pressure me to add a book to my pull list, I kind of might avoid it. I'm like, I don't want to be pressured, but I also don't want to be like not noticed in a store. There's something nice about a store acknowledging you as a regular. So like I'll walk into Comics Experience with Brian and be like, hey, Rocky, how's it going? You know, having a little bit of conversation there. There's something nice to being known as a regular. It's like when you walk into a coffee shop and they remember you, they remember what you always order, the usual. And I think in particular with comics too, it's fun to have a conversation. It's fun to have a little bit of a debate of what you do or don't like. That's all part of it too. I'm fortunate enough, at least the 3 main stores that I go to in the city, I like all the owners and the people that work there, the staff. Like they do make an effort to get to know you and like make you feel, they don't pressure you necessarily. So that's great. That's probably why those are the main 3 stores I go to. Comrade Sammy might even come back for a poll. Quickest way to lose sales, don't order at least a couple of each cover. People will bail on a shop in a heartbeat when they do that. I kind of agree with you there. Rocky, there's still no comics on screen. I long for the day when the quickest way to lose sales in a comic shop will be not showering. But today is not that. Is ventilation? Should that have been one of my options? Ventilation in a store, maybe? 68 minutes and we get the very top of the comic on the screen. Stop it. What I really appreciate about this new Hush series is they didn't go with the... Oh, yeah, you already said that. Wow. I just jumped weird. I jumped in a weird part of the chat. I haven't been to a comics book store in years, Lindsay Rose says. Oh, you gotta go. If you have a local one, Lindsay Rose, wherever you may be, go check it out. Let me know what you think. I love one of my fun things to do whenever I go to a different town or city or a different part of the country or even the world, is to explore the comic book stores there, because each one is so different. They have their own personality, their own strengths and weaknesses, and yeah, they're just like meeting people. They take on the like personality of the people that make up the store. So I really love it. Shelby says mostly A. Current inventory. Part C, the back issues. Favorite shop of mine has current books, variants, nice selection of blanks, and great collected hardcover editions. Less focus on things like pops or magic. Yeah, I agree too. Like I'm not that into the other side of the non-comics collecting part. And I know that a lot of the stores have to do that to drum up more business, to have like Magic the Gathering or sell collectibles. But when it leans, there's another store that I visit that's a little bit outside of town here, and I get to see it sometimes once a week. But that one, they really focus on like the Magic the Gathering. They have all these meetups for people there. And then their comics are like, kind of, okay. Like their inventory is like, okay. And they're not super friendly there. So I don't go there as often as I do these other stores. Mobig says, we know for Rocky it's B, the yapping. Sometimes I go in and I don't want to talk to anybody either, but it's still nice. I don't know how to explain it. It's this weird like dance you do where you don't have to always make conversation, but when you do make conversation, it's good. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the introvert in me. Like I don't always want to talk. Contrary to popular belief, I don't really like talking that much. But because you guys aren't talking back to me, I feel like I have to fill in the dead air. Okay, so that was Batman Hush 2, number 160 with a Frank Quitely variant cover. Oh, and the other thing that Shelby just mentioned, the blank covers, like even stores that carry variants, I've found that blank covers are not a given that they will buy those too. Like those are a little few and far. I know some stores like have them all the time. Maybe the ones you go to, Shelby, but none of the stores Frank is probably, Amazing Fantasy is probably the main store that I know that carries blank covers. And it's still spotty. It's not like a given all the time. But he did say, like, if I wanted a blank cover for something, just to let him know. So Mark's Music Obsession says current and back issues are equally important to me. Yeah, same. I love me a back issue box. Y'all have heard of the never... Stop it. Unlike the story, the yapping truly never ends. Lindsay Rose is here for the yapping first and then the comics. So there you go. Oh my gosh. I know it's bad today, right? Jeez, it's bad. I appreciate that Mo Biggs has become my partner in heckling Rocky for his yapping. Great. Building up friendships. The yapping is prominent, rather hard to miss. Mark's here. Mark agrees with Lindsay Rose. Thank you. Shelby acts like such a Tucson expert, yet he's never even seen the show Sons of Tucson. Sons of Tucson? I don't think I've ever even heard that show. I know Sons of Anarchy, not Sons of Tucson. I'm down for the yapping, but the yapping itself tends to keep him from paying attention to chat. Well, I don't know what to do about that. Any shop, thank you, Shelby, for keeping us on track. Any shop that doesn't have a digital marketplace going full throttle right now may as well close the shop. There's a good 20 plus years of online sales that shops have been utilizing to reach new customers. Right? Like, all right, I'm going to out the shops a little bit. I don't know if Frank is like old school. Like if you ask him for stuff and I don't know how he does it. It's amazing. He'll just write it on a sheet of paper. And then next thing you know, like he's handing you the thing you ordered. So that's pretty incredible. But Frank's old school. Comics Experience, that's the one that they're trying to get on more of a digital back end. But it seems like it's taking a lot of time to get there, and there's a lot of hitches every time with the system. And then Invisible Jet Comics, Chris, the owner of that one, she has a kind of a full digital system, and so why don't I favor that one as much? I don't know. That's a good question. But I think digital, you kind of have to like go with the times. And I think that could open up your customer base a little bit more. There's something to it where you can, tweak it. You can look at what you want to pre-order. You can make sure that you're rather than just trusting that your email got there or your phone call was recorded or that the piece of paper didn't get lost over the course of a week. It is nice to have that digital component. So yeah, I think it's super important. In reference to Big Back Man logo, someone was really proud of the connection with making it an axe head. Yeah. Like a good way to clear out back issues. I think, yeah. I think that is also a good point. When like one of my favorite shops to whenever I'm looking for back issues is a website called mycomicshop.com. Is it that simple? I think it's mycomicshop.com. But they've got a great system. They even grade their comic books, and you can order different grades of the same comic book if you wanted to, and they give you the pricing. It's all pretty clear. Their shipping is pretty clear. And so I think that's a great way to, if you have the capability of making the inventory of your back issues online, that would be a great way to kind of sell them more than just like putting them out in a box every week, right? Where people have to rifle through and figure it out, which is fun, but I think you can open up your audience more and sell more with your back issues if you had that all online. Yeah, that would be good. Chat full of mods. We're not even moderating chat like we moderate. Good job. The poll is equally balanced. We are, let me just double check this poll. We're still at 40-60. Yeah. 5 votes only. Come on. We need more votes. Good point, Shelby. So many ways to buy these days. That's right. Comic shop owners tend to keep margins survivable by cutting unnecessary expenses such as... I guess they're like, nope, first cut's deodorant. No more mandatory deodorant. Then again, I personally can't say too much. His yapping got me an A last semester. That kind of carried my grade toward... See, that's the gold star right there. It's not just yapping, it's the quality of the yapping. Like, is it good yapping? You know what I mean? I'd say your teacher says yes. I've met those guys. What I appreciate about Rocky's yapping is its consistency. Good. I'm not an introvert. That's why I like the yapping. To be fair, Rocky, I don't know how or why, but apparently a yappy chat is also good for the algorithm. So you're welcome for that too. Is it? Sure. Comrade Sabby hasn't voted in the poll. That was on purpose so they would all be balanced. I'm always nervous. You know what? It's like I might just be doing polls that have two options from here on out because you guys always... No, I guess you could... just one option for the poll. You guys always mess with the results. Rocky, what was going to local comic book shops in Rhode Island like? Did they carry the Northerner Ignore Strangers? Kind of. The shop I went to when I was in college, at least, in Rhode Island, it was cool because it's no longer there from what I understand. But you have to kind of walk in this little... It was not like... It didn't have a storefront. You had to walk inside a store and like up back, upstairs. It was like tucked away in the back. And it was tiny, but that's where I got like a lot of the like original like Hellboys and Madman and Sin City and The Crow. I got those all at that shop. I remember very like great memories of finding those books there. But I never had a relationship with the owner at all. Like I don't even remember who the owner was. And I was just so excited that they had a comic book shop nearby school. Like some, it's not a given. It's not a given. Now I'm super spoiled where I am now. Who doesn't love a comic book shop conversation? Wolverine should be short in the movies. Okay, dude, that's Bill O'Reilly. What about... Sir, don't make me speak. I'm trying to hold my breath. Some people in comic book stores will just argue for the sake of arguing. Like, I appreciate a good argument or a debate over comics, but I also appreciate good recommendations and just talking to people, and not just the comic book shop owner. It's the people that come in too, and the kind of regulars you run into. There's this group of guys who show up at Frank's shop, Amazing Fantasy, and they're young guys. I think I want to say they're still in high school, but they are faithfully there at store opening on Wednesday to pick up the new books. And they walk out with a stack of books, and they are hunting for like all the cool variants, and they're just like chattering back and forth with each other. There's at least 3 or 4 of them I've seen every time I go on Wednesday. And I am really close to wanting to say like, hey, can I interview you guys? Or like, can I ask you guys a couple questions on camera? Because I just would love to be in their conversation and know what is exciting them, what they're into now. And because they remind me a little bit of myself when I was that age. And I would just love to like tap into their brain. Like they are the new generation that are getting into comics. They're obviously faithfully, regularly buying, which is awesome. And I would just love to know what it is that they are excited about. Okay, to the next book. We're only on book 2. Issue 8 of Absolute Wonder Woman. I have not picked up the last 2 issues before this because it was drawn by a different artist. And it kind of dragged out. The first arc ended at issue 6. Oh no, issue 5. And the artist Hayden Sherman was on it, and I kind of liked his take on Wonder Woman. That story, that first 5-issue story, kind of dragged out a little bit. I feel like it didn't totally pay off. So I actually took this off my pull list and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to keep up with it. Then they came out with 2 issues drawn by another artist. I wasn't that into it. So this new artist, they even put it on the cover. I mean, this new story, they even put it on the cover here. A new story starts here. Like, don't forget, come back to us. Where Hayden Sherman is also just started drawing this again. And so I flipped through it and I was like, okay, it's kind of cool. So I'm going to give it another whirl, give it another go. There's a tone and a feel. A lot has to do with the art and the colors in particular too, that I really like about this take on Wonder Woman. Hayden Sherman does a lot of these kind of crazy layouts too. These panels, these different kind of shape panels. It's pretty they showed up a lot in the first 5 issues that he drew. So a lot of different unique panel borders, and this is kind of crazy, kind of cool character. And I love the colors. The colors are unusual for what you'd expect from Wonder Woman. This Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman, is a lot darker. You know, she's part of the dark arts. She grew up in hell, so not the same bright and cheery Diana from what we know. So yeah, I'll give it one more issue. This is kind of a cool spread. I'll give this one issue I'll read through this to see if I want to keep up with this series. But the artwork is interesting enough that made me go, okay, I'll give it another shot. We'll see. Yeah, these are all just really unique ways of laying out the page. That's almost like decorative. I've seen artists do that too. Like, it's almost like stained glass or something. The way that they lay out the page might not necessarily be conducive to reading the story, but in the previous issues that Hayden Sherman drew, I didn't feel like it was super distracting. Like sometimes it's like, oh, okay, you're trying too hard, and I can't even read what's going on. But I didn't feel that with this work. Cool. All right, there you go. Absolute Wonder Woman number 8. A new story starts here. Come on back. The artist is back is basically what they're saying. I'm not spending some money on overpriced truck ice cream when I've got 2 pints in the freezer, Emo Trash says. Oh, I can't tell if I'm hallucinating if there's an ice cream truck outside. Oh, ice cream trucks. Those are fun yet creepy. I remember one time in my neighborhood, I heard the ice cream truck sound, but it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, this is a little creepy. This is kind of like the setup for a horror movie. Like, why are you out late at night? I don't think there's a truck anyway. Explain it this way, Rocky. I grew up Southern, so I like yapping. Is that why? Southern people known for yapping? Maybe. Been debating on grabbing one, though. I don't know the status of Pizza Live tonight, so I've been hesitating. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like it might not happen tonight. So I'm not sure, unless Shanth comes in here and tells us otherwise. Can we really call them ice cream trucks? They mostly sell popsicles, Comrade Sammy says. Actually, the truck that comes by, at least that I've seen in my neighborhood from time to time, is like it's a Mr. Frosty. So it's like, but they do like dipped cones. That's the one I love, where they dip it in like the chocolate sauce that hardens. They even have like a cherry dip. It's really good. It's so good. It's a little expensive, but it's good. That was really bad chat catch up. It was cool cover, Lindsay Rose says. I think for the Quietly book or the Absolute Wonder Woman. I can't even keep track anymore. We should call them popsicle vans. My gosh. Sons of Tucson was a comedy starring the dude who played Dale in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Oh, it was on Fox, so it got canceled after one season. Oh, okay. Neat. It's quality yapping right there. Is Comrade Sammy leaving? I should probably get back to my project. All right. See ya, Comrade Sammy. Oh, no. Ain't leaving. Just going to be lurking. All right. I don't suppose anyone has paint stripper. No, but funny you should mention I had to do some patching and painting myself right before this stream. And there's nothing like opening up an old can of paint that you haven't used in like 4 years and trying to stir that together and then applying it and hoping to God that the paint doesn't dry differently than what's on your wall. But it all worked out great. I highly recommend Benjamin Moore paints for those of you who care, because the quality of that paint really matches after, like I said, I haven't touched this paint can for like 4 years. And after it dried, it looks like you can't even see it. So pretty good. Where I live is south, but we ain't got the southern hospitality here in the metropolitan area. Mark, I will happily travel all the way to Florida to pick up a paint stripper. Can't be that hard. Is this Absolute Wonder Woman artist also the one from Big Back Man? No. Big Back Man, totally different artist on each of the Absolute books. This is Hayden Sherman. And then the artist on Absolute Batman, or Big Back Man as you'd like to call it, is Nick Dragotta. Or the regular artist, I should say. Jeffrey Beats, what's up, Beats? How are you doing?
10% bogan, 50% bogan, 100% bogan.
Always good to see you, Beats. I had mentioned you to when I had this conversation with one of the comic book store owners, Frank, and he was just talking about people who he's noticed regularly show up to my channel. One of them, I said, hey, there's a guy from Australia that comes. His name's, well, I didn't say his name, your name, but I was like, the point being like, it's all over the world. And he was like, wait, if you're streaming, aren't they asleep when you were? I was like, I don't even know how people do this, but it's awesome. And always appreciate our international friends that come in. Do I go get my ice cream? I probably deserve it for all the work I did while also dodging my cat today. I say do it. Just do it. How often do you get ice cream truck ice cream? Or are you just talking about the regular ice cream you own? I say go get the ice cream truck ice cream. Or maybe you didn't even hear it yet. I can't even track. What will you do if Sean does a pizza live if you get your ice cream now? These are tough questions. I appreciate how Wonder Woman looks like nothing like Wonder Woman in this book. They should call it Undercover Wonder Woman. That's the point, though, right? They're just trying to reinvent the characters and I guess just hold on to the name. I mean, there's similarities in it, but yeah, she's totally different from the Wonder Woman that we grew up and knew. It's probably creepier for the truck driver that gets chased around by little kids. Maybe. I miss the corn dudes in my neighborhood. The corn dudes. They used to get around licensing issues by selling corn out of baby strollers. They advertise. What? That is the craziest thing I've ever. Was it street corn? That is crazy. And yet genius. Southerners known for yapping. All right, who's going to bring it to Rocky? Okay, it makes sense now. Emo Trash says, Rocky also lived in Tennessee for a spell. Yes, I lived in Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, I've done the circuit in the South. Both are cool covers, really. Lindsay Rose says, nice. Yeah. Because inner Southerner is what compels the amp. I'm telling you guys, I really don't talk that much. I think my wife says I have like 5 words for every 1,000 that she has. I don't really talk that much. I'm not going to repeat that. This Wonder Woman has thickness too. Yeah, it's true. In her arms, she's built. Does not compare to the level of thick. No. And then, I'm really excited for the new issue of Absolute Batman, which hasn't come out yet. But the next issue is going to introduce Bane. And the images I've seen of the Absolute Batman Bane, he's like thick. I mean, if you think Batman's thick, like Bane is like super thick. It's not nighttime in Australia, but it's early enough I would still be asleep. It's Friday morning at 7:30 in the morning. Oh my gosh, Jeffrey Beats. Good morning to you in Meanjin. Good morning to you. The comic community does not sleep. It doesn't. It doesn't. That's what's pretty awesome. So Little Bird says hi by nearly flying into my face. Okay. It was street corn mob. Okay, good. That's good. Street corn's good. Usually street corn though, don't you need like sauces and stuff? Like was that in the baby carriage too? Like the good street corn I've had, you mix it with things like all these different sauces I couldn't even tell you. Like creamy sauces and like spices and powders and salts in a baby carriage. So creepy. Okay. Did you grow up in a movie? No, it wasn't. Everybody always asks me that. It wasn't. My father's particular job, they kind of had us stationed in each area for like 5-6 years. And then once they were done with that job, they'd shift us to the next project. But it wasn't the military. Sun never sets on Comicsgate, John says. Yeah, or comics in general, like, just doesn't. Or YouTube in general, I'd say. Yes, they had sauces. Okay. Sounds like the complete package, Mo Biggs. And kind of makes me hungry for some street corn now. All right, book number 3. This is Absolute Martian Manhunter number 3. Again, going back to what I said earlier, if you get in a reaction that's like, it's okay, you're kind of missing the mark as an artist, as creating art, in my opinion. Absolute Martian Manhunter, and so it's like Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Martian Manhunter. There's an Absolute Flash, and I think there might be an Absolute Green Lantern. I get a little confused. And I would argue all of them so far have gotten that extreme reaction. Either people really love it or they really hate it. And there's not that much in the middle. So this book, Absolute Martian Manhunter, is one of those that fits that bill. I've seen reviews of people that just hate it, cannot stand the artwork, cannot stand the storyline, and then people that really love it. And I'm kind of in the camp of really loving it because it's so different. And I think part of it too is I was never really attached to the character of Martian Manhunter. He was never super compelling. He wasn't never my favorite character. He's kind of always weirdly like a Martian Superman and like deadpan all the time. And this take on him is just so bizarre and weird and crazy and abstract that I kind of love it. Like they just go there. I particularly love the art. I think the art works really well with the kind of stories that they're telling. And Javier Rodriguez is awesome and just does really unique, bizarre things with the artwork. There's just like nothing out there right now. Yet it's still trying to be a mainstream book. The kind of catch to it. Like it's almost like it would be like a Vertigo book or something more independent, but it's still trying to be a mainstream book. And his treatment of Martian Man, it's just a weird thing. It's like you don't know if it's a psychological thing that John Johns is struggling with. It's all in his mind, or is it really an alien presence that he's infected with or sharing? And the colors are all this crazy. Like, this is crazy, weird, abstract stuff that they're doing. But it's awesome. I actually like it a lot. It's kind of dark too. So it almost, I could see this like a TV series, the way that they're playing it. It's the same kind of feeling I get when I watched WandaVision. Like, that was taking very mainstream characters that we knew, Scarlet Witch, Vision, and then putting them in this bizarre, artsy, like, very different scenario, and telling super nuanced and just crazy stories that had like multiple layers, alternate realities. This is what it feels like. It does feel like a WandaVision of the Absolute Universe. And I love WandaVision. It's one of my favorite Marvel TV series. What the? I haven't looked through this book yet. Vision? I was just saying WandaVision? What the? You reading my mind? Look at these crazy colors. These like crayon box colors. Yeah, the last issue of this, it ended pretty dark. There was like a sniper and he was thinking that the world was being invaded by aliens and that's why he was killing people. And then at the end, spoiler alert, at the end he got killed by the police before Martian Manhunter could like rehabilitate him or save him. So it's like, whoa, geez. It's crazy. This is so crazy. You never know what you're going to get when you turn the page on this story. And I kind of love that. There you go. Our Absolute Martian Manhunter number 3. This one had a bunch of different variant covers I saw, but I really like the cover A. This is drawn by Javier Rodriguez, so I just decided to get the cover A on this. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy series. What's the concept with all of the Absolute series? The concept is... I should know this. It's kind of like Darkseid's involved, and this is like his reality. Like, I don't know I actually didn't read the intro issue that set up all these Absolutes, but I believe this is like his alternate reality of like the world that is controlled by darker forces than like all the heroes that we are the tentpole heroes in the DC universe. This is like a spin on them if they came from more of like a dark, evil angle a little bit. He thinks this way his wife won't find out about his constant yapping, as if she doesn't know from experience. She doesn't. Who I am on stream is so different. Maybe that's also because I don't talk about comics. I would be yapping about comics with my wife if she wanted to hear it, but she doesn't. So I don't have a captive audience with her. She just get up and walk out. Here I have a cat. I mean, you guys could get up and walk out. Please don't, but you could get up and walk out. But you know, it's somewhat of a cap. You guys are tuning in for a reason. For her, she'd be like, "This is boring. I'm seeing you later." Now I'm kind of between my ice cream or my chocolate eggs. Chocolate eggs? It's not even Easter. Emo trash. Why do you have chocolate eggs? You know what's really awesome about Martian Manhunter, Mobig says? If you have Cadbury mini eggs, you can't go. The mini eggs comment was unrelated to. Okay. I was about to say. Well, what was your response? You know what's really awesome about Martian Manhunter is what? This book gives smoking crack a bad name? Is that what it is? Maybe. It does give you that trippy, drug-induced kind of feel, which I welcome. It does, yeah, it feels like WandaVision for TV series, comparable TV series WandaVision or like Legion. Did you guys ever watch that series, Legion? Kind of has that feel to it, like really bizarre, artsy, psychedelic take. Cadbury mini eggs. All right, there you go. Man, I remember the Cadbury, not the mini ones, the regular size ones. They'd always advertise that during Easter, and they'd have the bunny that like made the chicken noise would be like bok, 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 the bunny. And then they'd open up that egg and it had that creamy filling, and it looked so good as a kid. And I remember trying it out for the first time, and I was immensely disappointed. It was not as creamy as it looked on the commercial, and it also was horribly sweet. Yeah, it was the biggest disappointment. Imagine if Choco gave Rocky the weekly vocabulary lessons. What is Choco? Am I missing something? Is Bao a character? Bao is a thing that Cheddars tends to say. I haven't figured it out yet, but I don't question, is what Emo Trash says. Yes. So when I started watching Sean's stream, when he introduced me to this, there was the like hashtag crack pack bow thing, but I'm not 100%. It's basically a greeting, but we also say it when something good happens. There we go. That's what it feels like. Storied history of the bow, mostly centered around crack pack. There you go. Crack pack. Maybe Absolute Martian Manhunter is a book that the crack pack would like. Oh. You didn't have an answer. I gotcha. You know what's really awesome about nothing, apparently. I think the art is awesome about it. If you don't like the art, then you're out. Like, you won't stick around. The art is so much about why that book, in my opinion, is good. And then also, if you're into very weird, off the beaten path, reality is not reality kind of stories, if you're not into that, then that's probably not the book for you. If you're looking for like superhero action, it's not the book for you. It's more of like a mystery. You're trying to unravel what's going on. So almost like a detective story. Monsieur Ballesteros, just like now, how I'll happily eat my ice cream in the dead of winter. It does not need to be Easter to enjoy. But you can buy those off season? I didn't know that. Classic commercial, Lindsay Rose says. Katie says, is it Wednesday?
Say cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
No. A cup of tea.
Let's just say yes, Katie. You wouldn't know because you're in a different time zone anyway. So yeah, we're just going to say yes. It's Wednesday. How are you doing, Katie? Awesome to see you. Choco is a Choco hooligan from Gwanny's chat. Oh, man. All these extra things that you need to know to have a intelligent conversation. It's like bow and crack pack, Choco. Sean made a great Crack Pack video intro. I think wasn't there a bunny in that one? This is all sounding vaguely familiar. I think there was a bunny in that one. Choco is a mod for... Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Got it. Hashtag cup of tea. That's right. Always good to see Katie. Choco Hooligan would be a treat to have in these parts, though. I don't know if we'd be able to bring her over. You know what? She's welcome because we like chocolate. I don't know. It's my understanding that Choco Hooligan is a longtime patron of Gothic's and Star Sand's channel. All right. I have heard, I do know of Gothic's channel. I have heard of Star Sand. I don't know about her channel if she has one. I wonder if there are comics about Skinwalker Ranch. That sounds adult. We're a disparate group. We are. You guys are. You guys up the up my culture for the day. I always learn something new when I have conversations with you guys. All right, here we go. This is G.I. Joe. How are we doing on time? 2 hours. We're doing all right. This is G.I. Joe number 7. And number 6, they actually ended kind of the first plot line. So it's always kind of like with an ongoing book, and G.I. Joe, the new G.I. Joe has been an ongoing book for me. It's always like when you hit the end of a storyline or like a story arc, it's always a time of like, okay, reassessing, like, am I going to keep going with this book, or am I going to stop here? Is this a logical stopping point for me? Because I don't like to stop unless a book is horribly bad or it just really doesn't connect with me. More often than not, I will kind of stick through trying to finish a story, especially if the art's good. Like, art's got to be good for me to stick with anything, good or not, any story, whether I like it or not. So if the art's great and the story's good or great, then I'll stick with it. And then at the end of a storyline, it's always like this decision point of, am I going to keep up, just continually keep picking up, or what? So G.I. Joe, the first story arc was great. It didn't like wow me necessarily, but the artwork was cool enough that I liked it and thought it was a great ongoing series. But I did take it off my list because I'm like, well, they're at a stopping point. Do I need to pick up individual issues, or can I just like wait till things get compiled in graphic novels? So I left it up in the air. And then issue 7 came out, which is the start of new arc. The previous artist on the first 6 issues was Tom Riley, great artist. I think it's Andrea Milana was the artist on the Cobra Commander miniseries, which I picked up all those issues. And for the most part, I like the artwork in that. But when I saw that name, I was like, is that going to be enough for me to start picking this up again? Or is this just a one-shot or what? I did love this cover. Speaking of variant covers, this would never be carried in the stores that I know that don't carry variant covers. But this is such a weird one. Like, it has a die cut in it. And this is Beachhead, who he's kind of a cool character. So, yeah, I was like, whoa, this is a wild variant. So I had to grab that. This is cover H. And so that was a plus. It has this kind of like foily quality to it, but it's matte. It's not like a glossy foily, but it's matte. And it's kind of cool that it's like on both sides. So there's that. And then I started flipping through the artwork on this one. And I was pleasantly surprised. I actually like this artwork a lot better than I like the Cobra Commander artwork, which is funny because it's the same artist. And maybe it's because it's Beachhead, but without even reading the story, it's kind of cool. Like, the last time we saw Beachhead was in that Silent Mission one-shot issue that I picked up maybe about a month ago. They did that whole series of silent missions. It was like Beachhead, Jinx, Duke. Oh gosh, what is his name? The Native American guy, the Ranger. And I thought there was one more. Beachhead by far was the best one. So anyway, it just got in my mind like, oh, Beachhead. And then they did this story and like, look at these. This is pretty cool. And actually some of the... Oh, wait. Is Milana the artist on... Maybe this is the artist on... Wait, let me do a quick look. This might be the artist on... I could be wrong. This might be the artist on Scarlet, not Cobra Commander. Hang on, let me get my facts straight. No, it was Cobra Commander. Okay. I liked, this artist is from Andrea Milana, is a guy, and he is from Rome. Wow, he's super young. But he drew the Cobra Commander limited series, which I picked up the whole thing. And I thought the artwork was, good. It wasn't my favorite, but it was good. I actually liked his art better than the Scarlet artist. But this stuff's cool. Like when I flipped through this and I saw this action stuff, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like a lots of action going on. And Beachhead is like hardcore. It's kind of like this combat ninja, which is what we always wanted for Beachhead. When I was a kid and seeing that action figure, I was like, he's a ninja, even though he really wasn't a ninja. So yeah, it seems like there's some cool action sequence. I mean, dude, dirt bikes. It's great. So it got me intrigued. Major Blood. And I love kind of this treatment of Beachhead. It's cool. There's some cool stuff. So even though I already knew who the artist was, even though I was kind of wavering on whether to pick up the story, just flipping through this was like, all right, cool. This is cool. I'm in. I like how it's turning out. And I like this crazy gimmicky variant cover. So there you go. It's kind of a short issue, but I like it. I'm into it. G.I.Joe number 7, starring Beachhead. Sure are a bunch of hooligans. Raining on your parade. Oh, bummer. Oh, here you go. Mobig says, Shant's Crack Pack intro featured Shant's cover of rapper Viper's iconic song, Y'all Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack, interspersed with Morgan Freeman saying, you smoke crack? With a bunny. I knew it. And if you can imagine, it was like my first time like stepping into comics and this independent comics movement and hearing about Comicsgate and all that kind of stuff, like all the different circles. And then watching this trailer with all this inside joke stuff, I was like, what? Like, I don't even understand. What am I doing? It's been fun though. Okay. So Mobig said, I don't get it. Why is this drawn like a comic book and not a Technicolor Art Deco monstrosity? Martian Manhunter? I think it would be awesome to get all my favorite comic artists to do a commission piece on the gel coat of my boat. What? And then seal them all. A true one of a kind for people to see. That would be awesome. That would be so awesome. That's like van art. Mark's Music Obsession. That would be so cool. Louis is malting? Feathers flying or molting maybe, yes. Currently it's down feathers, but there have been a number of tail and crest feathers left around as well. Shanth is a legend around these parts. Shanth is legend in a number of parts. Shanth. I love that guy. Okay. Woo. Wow, this is good. All right, here we go. Let me check. What's the poll? Where are we at the poll, guys? 56%, 9 votes. 56% jumped to current people into current inventory, variants, etc. All right, we'll keep it going, but it seems like that one's the winner. 33% for back issues, 11% for comic store conversations. People are not into the social at all. It's something though. It is a thing. It is a thing. I think you don't notice it until you don't have it, or you have the opposite. Then you're like, oh, why do I feel really weird when I walk in the store? One of the worst feelings of walking into a comic book store is like spending a long time in there, whether you're going through books or back issues, and then leaving without buying anything. And then like the front desk is right there, or the cashier is right there at the door. And this is me. You like want to time it where they are talking to somebody else while you sneak out without buying anything, because you feel really bad if you don't buy anything because you spent so much time there. Is that just me? I'm like, oh, dear Lord, let somebody else go. Or what's even worse is like if everybody leaves the store and then you're by yourself, and then you're in the store and you don't buy anything, and you're like, oh gosh, how do I get out of here? Like, oh, please, somebody come in and like buy some stuff, please. All right, all right, see you later, bye. I've done that a number of times. Lindsay Rose says, I just voted for the social. she's the one person. All right. Liefeld finally draws some feet, and it was a mistake. This foot? Maybe. All right, so this is issue 2 of the reprint, or they called it Youngblood Deluxe here. And basically what Rob did is he took his original series, Youngblood, the original run. I don't know how many issues he's doing this for. I thought he was just doing it for issue 1. But it seems like he's at least doing it through 3. I saw an advertisement for number 3, and this is number 2. So he took his original Youngblood run, and I think he even kind of hired Joe Casey to rewrite the script, and then Matt Yackey to redo the colors. And so that's what this is, this Youngblood Deluxe. And the first issue came out probably about a month ago. And I actually really liked it because I love the original Youngblood series. And to just do like a facsimile edition or re-release, which they've done before, it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I get it. But to kind of up it a little bit and repackage it, give you like a souped up edition, is, I don't know. It made me like go, yeah, like gave me the same vibes as reading the book when I was a kid, but also like got me excited about it now. So I love it. I think this is just to prep, because he is launching a new Youngblood series sometime, I believe, this year. And he's also releasing a Youngblood artist edition of the first, I want to say 6 to 8 issues in the huge format, black and white scans of the original art, which I cannot wait to get my hands on that. So I think it's super smart to do this. Like, he doesn't have to he doesn't really do anything differently. He's just, just spicing it up a little bit. But this is what you can expect from Liefeld and, that Image time, the time that, do they even say when the original was printed? No, they didn't even mention. I'm guessing like 2001, 2002. It's like huge chest. It's awesome stuff. Rob Liefeld's crazy anatomy. They would just randomly make you rotate the page so they can do these landscape spreads. This was the first appearance of Prophet too, which became one of his most popular characters in his image world that he created. Probably because eventually Stephen Platt would be drawing Prophet, which was an awesome run. But I don't know, this artwork is still cool to me. It's still like exciting and fun, and I like it better than the stuff that Rob's drawing now, like he's currently drawing now, like this old stuff that he did. I really like it. Yeah, see, they're already advertising issue number 3. So cool. Rob kind of gives a little backstory about Youngblood and when he originally created in '87. So he already had this idea before he joined DC and Marvel and became, the successful comic book artist that he was. He already had this idea for Youngblood. And so when he left Marvel at the height of his popularity, when he left Marvel to form Image, he brought back this idea as his main idea. So this is some takes on Youngblood. This is Liefeld inked by Jerry Ordway. I think this was some of his original drawings of Youngblood right here, which looks so different from his. And I think these are the original pages that he did. I read a little bit of this when I picked up the book, but he was saying how his influences were where is that? Oh yeah, like Avengers. Here he goes. My sample pages featured a super team concept I had been developing since high school, Youngblood. Youngblood was the result of all my favorite team books, with a smattering of the Avengers here, a dash of the Legion of Superheroes there, and a smidgen of Teen Titans for good measure. And just looking at these old pages, which he recolored for this special deluxe issue, these got some like George Perez, just the way the heads look and the multiple panels. Definitely has like a George Perez vibe to it. Teen Titans, Avengers. It's cool. It's really cool. I'm glad they included that in this. Boom. So yeah, if you want to blast from the past, Rob Liefeld's Youngblood #2 Deluxe issue, and it seems like they're doing issue 3. I don't know how long they're going to keep up with this, but I will be picking them up because it's like my childhood revamped. The brief moments of silence between the yapping are now unsettling. The Fresh Prince of Dead Air. Dang, you guys are really on point today. It's amazing. Bless your yapping heart. Where is Shelby when Liefeld needs him? Mo Big says he can only do 4 books on that Youngblood run. Rocky, it's literally reprinted Yaki colors with Joe Casey script from the. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't even know that he had a hardcover. There is not that many compiled versions of Youngblood that I've run across, at least, and I think part of that had to do with there's a point in time for a good, maybe about a decade, that Liefeld had let go of the rights to Youngblood. And I've read some articles about like how it was a mistake and he shouldn't have done that. But now he's got him back. So, but that might be part of the reason why they didn't do so many graphic novel compilations of this. Okay, so 4 books. That's cool. Thank you. Rob bamboozling you all with floppy reprint of a remaster. I never got a handle, and I've never been able to find like easy reprints of the graphic novel. So I'm going for it, and they're good quality prints. Like this is a nice stock that he's doing. He's not skimping on the budget of these. So I'm in. Rob, man, I buy all of his snake oil. Shelby, when are you going to secure the rights to do a graphic novelization of The Greasy Strangler? Oh my gosh. Wonder if you will add the 4-page wrap-up from the original recolor hardcover. It kind of makes everything past issue 4 non-canon from the printed Extreme books. Oh, negates all of Prophet's solo books. Oh. This is what I love about Shelby coming in here. Brings in all the like backroom gossip with this stuff, because those of you might not know, Shelby's worked with Rob Liefeld. Hello, Mighty Geek Studios. What? Mighty Geek Studios is here? What's up, Mighty Geek Studios? Most shops have an extensive collection of back issues.
Here I come to save the day.
Not actually. Not most shops. At least not here in the city where I am. Whoops. Yeah, I at least maybe it's just me or the area that I'm in, but I find a lot of the stores are carrying back issues less and less because they can't really sell them, or they haven't been able to sell them. I have to go farther out of the city to stores that have more back issues or order them online. But here it's been really hard because it takes up so much space, and then the market for back issues isn't as profitable as current stuff or graphic novels. I know most everybody carries graphic novels, but not back issues. Good seeing you, Mighty Geek Studios. Lindsay Rose says, the gifts you sent for the unboxing were very cool, Shelby. I just put all that together just now. Yes, that's Shelby right there. I'm scared of licensed products, Mo Big, so we'll be launching my own version of Greasy Strangler, one of the greatest feats of film in modern day. I don't even know what you guys are talking about, but it sounds awesome. Seeing definitely will help with art. No, Emo Trash talking about her eye. The well-oiled choker. Yeah, it does. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lindsay, it was screaming 80s to me too. 80s. Do I see 80s? What are you talking about? Most of the back issue inventory is mainly independent publishers with quite a few gems. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because at least the stores that I have available near me, their back issue inventory is always, I mean, not that everybody can have all the back issues of everything, but most of the times the things that I'm hunting for, like nobody comes anywhere near covering that. And I don't even think I'm looking for that obscure stuff. Maybe it's also because I'm getting older. The definition of what back issues are, it's like they're like, oh yeah, we carry back issues, and they're like books from like 2010. You know, I'm like, that's not back issues. I need like books from like 1980s, 1970s, 1990s. So what's considered back issues, I'm not even interested in that time period most of the time. Depends if you see 80s. What are you guys talking about? 80s. I didn't see the Fresh Prince of Dead Air comment, so I'm disappointed in myself. Youngblood was almost called the Executioners. Oh, no kidding. I like Youngblood. I think that worked well for the image period too. It like kind of hit that home. Cranberry is back. What's up, Cranberry? We're wondering if you would come back. So, did you vote, Cranberry? Looks like 12 votes in. We are tied. People say current inventory is important for what is the number one factor that attracts you to a comic book store. People say current inventory, like carrying variants and special issues, etc., etc. And that's tied with back issues, 42% as well. And comic store conversations coming in last. And this is where society is going. Mighty Geek Susie got a sound effects. That's right. That's right. Were you not here, John, when I debuted it? Maybe not. Welcome, Mighty Geek Studios. I would not want to be Mighty Geek's nose right now after that sick burn. Dang. Oh, 80s hair. Yes, for sure. For sure. Especially in the ladies. For sure. I think it would be great dating myself. No, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Dating himself. Yeah. It's just that time. It's that getting old. Rocky is about to scold modern comics for their explicit word balloons and use of auto-tune. I remember. See, this is why I love screen tone so much. Working on the screen tone on that master study, because that to me is like, yeah, that's comics. As opposed to, oh, I have this screen tone brush of like 20% density. It's like, that's not comics. I mean, it is, but that's not real comics. I did vote. I picked back issues. You didn't have lack of rainbowish flags in the store. Yeah, that might keep you out of a lot of comic book stores. It's the number one factor part of the question, Rocky. Only get one pick. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. We can't put them in order. That's not how these polls work. So I do acknowledge that all of these can be factors. I just wanted to know what was the most important for people. So I'm getting a picture here, but I'll keep it open until we leave. Here's the last thing we'll look at. I picked this up. So there's been a few times that I have talked about different parts and different issues of Uncanny X-Men, talking about dating myself. This is the time period where I was really starting to get into comics. So 80s, 90s. I don't even think they mentioned they might. So Uncanny X-Men 210 to 24. I mean, even before that, but like, okay, so this was published. The originals were published in 86, 87. Yeah. This one, this is even scary. This edition was printed in 2013, which feels old even then. So yeah, the original issues that are part of this Mutant Massacre crossover was 86, 87. That is like my entry period into comics. Mid 80s, early to mid 80s, I'd say, was my entry point. So I'm surprised if you go search up Mutant Massacre, these compilations are not that easy to find with all the different reprints and graphic novels. It's funny that you just take it for granted. I'm like, oh yeah, I can pick up Dark Phoenix Saga, or I can pick up Fall of the Mutants pretty easily, like if I want to get a compilation. But when I looked up Mutant Massacre, I was like, wow, that wasn't, at least on Amazon, I was like, that wasn't that easy to find. And they have a whole bunch of different versions. This one was really cool because they mixed together. So Mutant Massacre crossed over, and they provided this map in the comics of at the time it was this wild like visual map of like, oh, okay, you read this one first and then you read this next and that, and it was one of the first to kind of do that. And so this compilation is not only Uncanny X-Men, which was my favorite book, but it also incorporated X Factor, which was a relatively new book coming out, New Mutants, Thor, Power Pack, and then back to X-Men. So if you wanted to understand like the story and see how it affected different characters, you would need to like read them in this particular order. I mostly stuck with the X books when I was reading Mutant Massacre at the time, and that was fine. I didn't really need to know how it affected Thor or Power Pack. Those were kind of lower on my list. But it was such a great story run. And this is John Romita Jr. artwork right here on this cover, and he was one of the artists for the X-Men books. John Romita Jr., we just talked about him at the beginning of the stream with his book with Mark Miller, Psychic Sam. This was some of his, when he was like the main artist on X-Men at the time. And I think like this kind of crossover event, the writers on it are Chris Claremont, Louise Simonson, Walter Simonson, and Anna Senti. All great. I'm assuming that Chris Claremont was the anchor writer for this, what was going on in this storyline. And it has all the workings and all the classic tones and storylines that are known in Chris Claremont's work. One of my favorite runs of Uncanny X-Men and of comics of all time is Follow the Mutants, which was Chris Claremont and Uncanny X-Men. But this was like the precursor of what, in my opinion, you could do with comics in some sort of crossover event. So what I love about this is John Romita Jr. in this first issue. This is X-Men. What I love about it is there's so much depth to the characters, and the stakes are incredibly high and kind of sad and dramatic. And so the premise is like there's this gang called the Marauders who they're hunting down mutants, and their main target in the Mutant Massacre were the Morlocks, who were mutants that lived underground. So they were all the like, I guess you can kind of describe them as like reject mutants. They weren't physically, they weren't, they're kind of like the homeless mutants, if that, not to like make light of it, but they kind of were like, they couldn't integrate into society like say the X-Men could. They weren't heroes. They were just like, they had to live under the streets, and they were like hobos a little bit. And so they had all the weirder powers. They looked weirder. Some of their mutant, the reasons why they were mutants were their physical appearance as well. So they were at the beginning of being hunted down by these Marauders. But just the stakes were super high because people were dying. And to read this as a kid was like, holy cow. I mean, Chris Claremont really established mutants as this, a lot of the social comparisons of like discrimination, and they were being like racism. He just painted them in the picture of mutants, right? So mutants were looked down upon. People, if they found out you were a mutant, you had like a stigma attached to you. And so that's like a huge theme that Claremont put in a lot of the stuff that he wrote for X-Men. And it was really relatable, and yet you love these characters as heroes too. But he just raised the stakes when it came to Mutant Massacre, because people just started dying and were being killed just for being mutants. This coloring always freaked me out. I'm like, there's a little bit too much makeup on her face. Let me make sure that's focused. There we Okay, let's see. Catch up here a little bit. I think it's getting a bit more serious than Rocky simply dating himself. Do you think this man for richer... Touche. Cranberry's leaving again. See you later, Cranberry. Until Yap shall end. That's right. Ciao again. You're leaving again, Cranberry. Cran does it for greeting clout. I only give him 1 per stream. I'm considering putting tariffs on his goodbyes, John. Stakes is that someone has messed with the X-Men, thus making their day. Yes, this was so 80s right here. Mess with us, make our day. So 80s. All right. Claremont was great at writing these like very human moments with the characters. Some of the greatest scenes were these like not in battle scenes that he wrote. And then he would throw you into like the huge battles. And then here at this time, Magneto was like a good guy. Here's X Factor right here in their like human alter egos. It's great. This is just classic Romita Jr. artwork for the time. But so they're starting to you don't really know much about these Marauders at this point. This girl, I guess she was dating a guy from the Hellfire Club. This guy's a soldier from the Hellfire Club. It's just a great way of starting the series. So this guy's a soldier for a Hellfire Club. He's dating Morlock, and he gets zapped by a harpoon. You're like, what? He's dying here. He gets left to kill, and he gets shot in the head. She runs away. Now she's still escaping, trying to go home back to the underground where the Morlocks are hidden. And right when she gets there, zap-a-doody, she's stabbed in the back by the same harpoon that got her boyfriend. Then you see these ominous, shadowy figures, and she's basically frying here in front of them. And this is where they introduce the Marauders. And this gunshot, oh man, it's crazy. You're like, what the? Like, she's crying here. They just assassinate her. So that just starts you out. That just gives you like a flavor of the Mutant Massacre, what's going to happen. This is an amazing Silvestri cover. This is before Silvestri took over Uncanny X-Men. Great cover. Love his version of the Blob. So this one is penciled by Terry Shoemaker, inked by Joe Rubenstein, not the regular artists on X Factor. But it started crossing over with Mystique, and they used to be the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, but then they started working for the government and called themselves the Freedom Force, so they were protected as mutants. But the cool thing with this Mutant Massacre plot is these people that used to be enemies towards the X-Men, they kind of have to team up to stop the Marauders, because the Marauders are just so cold-blooded. Here's Caliban. So, yeah. I like this reprint, too. The colors are pretty clean. Print's pretty clean. There's some screen tone right there, guys. Here we go. Back to the X-Men. And this is John Romita Jr. and Brett Blevins. Brett Blevins was the artist on New Mutants. So I'm not sure how they tag teamed on this. My hunch is that, just looking at the artwork and the finish, my hunch is that Romita Jr. probably did the layouts, most of the layouts, and then Brett Blevins tightened up the pencils on top of it. But here's where they introduce the Marauders. This guy's named the Scrambler. This is... oh gosh, This is Vertigo, Harpoon, Arclight, Riptide, and Riptide. And his name is, holy cow, why am I blanking on his name? Anyway, he just pulled out gun parts and like would assemble it and make like a gun. And then they just start killing the Marauders here. It's like brutal, really brutal. And it's awesome because the setup is like, there's no mercy. And so you know that's going to come to a head, that the X-Men are going to start fighting. Will have to come in and stop the Marauders. But they're just totally slaughtering the Morlocks with all their powers and everything. What is that guy's name? Oh, gosh. Arclight and Scalp Hunter. That's right. Just a cool name. Look at this scene. Oh, this is burned in my brain. So Colossus gets like this girl Arclight who's super strong, like collapses a sewer on Colossus, and Kitty Pryde gets really worried. Colossus, Scalp Hunter walks right up to her and shoots her, but she phases right in time, and he can't touch her. And here comes the X-Men. You're like, oh yeah. But then this whole interaction where Shadowcat tries to save Rogue. Rogue's about to die. Steps in, takes the harpoon for her, screws up her powers. Colossus gets pissed off, takes on this guy. And at this point, Colossus is like the gentle giant. He's the most pure of the X-Men. He's brute force, but he doesn't use it like to hurt anybody. He just uses it to protect his friends. But right here, he gets so angry because he thought Shadowcat was dying or was going to get killed, who's his girlfriend. And he breaks this dude's neck. Look at this. This blew my mind as a kid. He gets so angry, he snaps this guy's neck. And you're like, oh, dang. This is getting serious. The stakes is that someone has messed with the X-Men, thus making their... Oh, yeah, we said that already. You can read more about the homeless X-Men, Least, Tragic, Liceman, and more on the Park Bench Phoenix saga. Chewy auto ship order that will now be turned off. I have the same problem. I get Chewy cat food with my cats from Chewy, and that auto ship goes haywire. And sometimes I'll get like multiple shipments at a time. I'm like, slow down. Yeah, very tragic. Love LOL, the 70s and 80s here. It's right here. This is before the cool modern hairstyles. Nobody had the courage to ask, what if I made it look like I was growing broccoli on my head? Come on. Look at this. Harpoon's just like totally obliterating this guy. This is Walt Simonson drawing X Factor. He was great on X Factor. This is also a pivotal moment for the character Angel, because in Mutant Massacre, that's where he gets screwed up, and then he eventually becomes Archangel with the like metal wings and stuff. So this is where he gets really messed up by the Marauders. And more fighting, people getting hurt. Here's Apocalypse, who he was just kind of coming into becoming like the main bad guy that the X Factor was dealing with. Look at that. Like, to see the characters that you grew up with and love get hurt like this. This guy just crushed Angel's wings. And then, this is an iconic image. Angel's like crucified up there with harpoons, stuck him on the wall. Here's an issue of New Mutants, Barry Windsor Smith. So it's like a smattering of different artists. Jackson Geis was the penciler. I think he just passed away, actually. Kyle Baker was the inker. Oh my gosh. Kyle Baker. It's so funny to think of him inking on a book like this. And I think the cool thing about this is, like, even though it was in the hands of different artists, all different takes, different books, the writing was so strong that it just carried through these characters. Like, you cared about, at least I cared about each one of them and what was happening to them in their respective books. And you just saw the different, like, how the Mutant Massacre affected them in different ways through their books. It's awesome. Like, you to kind of pull off this kind of plot that changed the face of these books, and to pull it off across multiple books is not easy. I find like some of the later or more modern crossovers were always just a mess. Like, there was never a strong tie when they did crossovers. It was just like, wait, I gotta get this book and that book, and like, I don't care anymore. And this plot affects this, not really. I only see you didn't read this, Thor. And it was kind of cool because you, even if, I think the way they wrote it too, it's like you almost didn't need to read every single one of these issues to understand what was going on. Like, if you were just an X-Men guy and you just read the X-Men books, which I was, then you could still kind of follow the main plot, even though it crossed over on these different books. Like, I don't remember reading this Power Pack story. I believe this artist is John Bogdanov. Yep, John Bogdanov. He was one of the main artists on the Death of Superman. But he also drew on Power Pack, which was okay. Power Pack was okay. More Thor, Simonson Thor. Oh no, Sal Buscema is drawing about Simonson's writing. Here we go. Back to the X-Men. This is a Barry Windsor Smith cover, if I'm not mistaken. And then Rick Leonardi is the guest artist on X-Men. He's great. Rick Leonardi's great. He drew Cloak and Dagger, Spider-Man 2099, X-Men. He filled in a few issues. Daredevil, I believe, also. He's a great artist. So many dead people. This girl's dead. This one sequence, like, Wolverine gets upset because the rats are coming to, like, harvest on the dead bodies, the Morlock bodies. It's messed up. I got the discount. I just want to turn the auto ship off, which I am struggling to figure out. Or you can push it out, emo trash, like change it from like every 4 weeks to 6 weeks or whatever. The poll has taken a 3 a.m. turn. Holy moly. We got 13 votes in here. Now it says back issues are more important. 46% says back issues are more important than current inventory, then comic book store conversations. Look at that. I tend to flat out forget about Grok till you bring it back up every time. What prompted the change in the story? Oh, even I've heard of Death of Superman. What are you talking about? What story? The change in what story? Lindsay Rose, let me know. I'm not sure I follow that. Anyway, great Rick Leonardi artwork in here. Oh, they're trying to heal up. This is kind of cool. Magneto is trying to heal Colossus because he's made out of metal. He was injured during that battle. This is great. More X Factor. Look at this Mohawk dude. I love Simonson's X Factor. Daredevil. Shal Bashama. Ooh, that's a wild drawing. Not that fond of this artwork. Now check this out. This issue of Uncanny. Shelby would like this if Shelby's still here. This is an Alan Davis fill-in issue. Alan Davis was the artist on, eventually became the artist on Excalibur. This great, great artist. I've looked at some of his stuff before. He came out with, he worked on that series, The Nail, DC's The Nail. Solid. This is pre-Psylocke becoming Asian. It's great. Just beating the snot out of each other. And then finally, this last issue of this compilation is X-Men 214, which is a Barry Windsor-Smith drawn issue. Love that cover. I was not into Barry Windsor-Smith art at the time. I was so into like the John Romita Jr. and then eventually Mark Silvestri, but looking at it now, I'm like, I love it. I think it was faces like that. I was like, eh. It's a classic Barry Windsor-Smith face. Yeah, they would. Claremont would just take you on these side stories. Sometimes he would just pull a few characters separate out from the whole team. It wouldn't always be this epic, world-changing, catastrophic battle with 40 characters. Like sometimes he would just pull a few characters off to take a side trip or side story, and he'd give you time to develop their strengths, their weaknesses, their struggles, their relationships with each other. It was awesome. That's why these characters have so much depth for me. And some cool little back sketches of the Marauders by John Romita Jr. That map. Cool stuff. Just cool. Blast from the Past. Yeah, I think Mutant. I have this Asgardian Wars, Mutant Massacre, Fall of the Mutants, Inferno. All great crossover events. I picked this up at my used bookstore when I found it. It's funny because I saw it on the shelf, and I was like, do I have that? I can't even remember I had that. And I went home and I realized I didn't have it. And then for some odd reason, I couldn't get to the used bookstore for a couple weeks, and I was like stressed out because I'm like, what if it sells? Like I can't find it anywhere, and it's not easy to get on Amazon. But I went back and it was still there. Lindsay Rose says, if the characters were established, why the war? the fact that it went into tragic territory. Oh, I mean, it was just kind of the natural progression of where they were taking the story. The overarching conflict was like, how does humanity look at mutants, right? So you have people, it's just like regular humanity, people without powers. You have people that are good. You have people that make good choices. You have people that make bad choices. You have people that are indifferent in between. And so same with the mutants, you'd have them that would step into becoming superheroes. And the awesome thing with that is like there was nuance to that. Sometimes as a superhero, you were embraced by humanity, say like the Fantastic Four, right? They weren't technically mutants. They were changed into who they became, but they didn't have to have masks or alter egos. People knew that Mr. Fantastic was Reed Richards and Invisible Woman was Sue Richards. So they didn't have to hide their identity. And they were accepted. They were trusted as superheroes that protected humanity. But then you would have the X-Men who they kind of had to hide, and they had to hide behind the school, like Professor X's school. And so it was like, oh yeah, they're just this private school over here that does interesting things. But in reality, they were the X-Men who were in disguise, and they were mutants trying to save the world. And then you would have people like X Factor. That was another cool angle, because X Factor, they used to be the original X-Men who hid and had alter egos. But then they decided that one way to save mutant kind was if they went undercover as agents of the government, X Factor. They pretended they were just humans, but then when they would find mutants, they would kind of help them out and, make sure they weren't killed. But they were under this guise of like, oh yeah, we're taking care of the mutant population. And then within that, like within the mutant kind or the X-Men world, then you had the Morlocks, like the homeless ones that were like the dregs of society. They couldn't fit into regular normal world. Then you had people who made bad choices. So you had like the Hellfire Club, you had the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and they were making bad choices, but they had their own agendas. So just the plots were just so really rich, and they allowed you as a reader kind of to go down this fantasy route of like, oh, if I was a mutant, which path would I take? Would I always pick the right path of being the hero? Would I, if I was treated horribly by humankind, would I take the high road and still want to help it? Or would I become really angry and bitter and fight back? So I just love that. It wasn't always a simple issue of like, it's mutants versus humans. It was like really complicated. And that's what made it so interesting to me and so appealing to me as a kid, these stories. I hope that answered your question. If not, that just added 15 minutes of yap. Is this issue a prologue? No, this was the whole crossover of the Mutant Massacre. This is the X-Men, this Marvel, correct? Yes. Oh, so it's more like adding to the stories. Well, it was like a crossover event, and I would say that Mutant Massacre was one of the bigger, more successful ones to start off these crossover events in Marvel. And it was just awesome to see how they tied to each other. And there was a main plot, but they all kind of had this like branches of the main plot that affected different characters. And so it was the first time for me, at least, and during this time, early 80s, mid 80s, that it was like, I felt like it was super successfully done and just made you go like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? It just made the world bigger than just X-Men for me. It was like, oh, this is affecting multiple books and with the same characters. Marvel tends to suffer the Disney effect nowadays anyway, since it is Disney. Yeah, it's so different now. It really is. Everything is like a multiverse this character tied to this character. I mean, all the crossovers we get in the Marvel movies, the roots of that come from these kind of crossover events in comics. So it's cool. It's gotten really old and overplayed now. And I'm really curious because the X-Men are supposed to be in the new Avengers movie coming out. At least some of the X-Men are. And they've always kind of been an outlier since Marvel movies have become super popular. Some of the original X-Men movies were actually really great. At least the first two were really great superhero movies before superhero movies were big blockbusters. But now when the MCU became huge with like Avengers and Captain America and all those movies, X-Men was, because of the rights to the movies, it wasn't well incorporated, or they couldn't incorporate it into the main MCU plotline. But now it seems like that's changed, and now they are trying to put that back in to this newest Avengers movie, trying to introduce them more. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if they can do it right. I don't know. I'm not super hopeful about it, but we'll see. All right. I think I'm getting tired with my yapping. Apparently my cosmetology instructor decided I was the golden child of roller sets. Oh, all right. Congratulations. Alan.
What?
I'm a computer.
I only hear the music from the not the 90s X-Men cartoon, but the 80s X-Men cartoon, which was Pride of the X-Men. It was only a pilot, but that soundtrack was awesome. That's what I think of when I see this written out. It was like X-Men escapades. That's really cool. It's almost like a good explosion of the stories. Yes, it's great. It's really great. It was a crossover done well, in my opinion, really well. And it couldn't have happened if there wasn't a lot of great setup before the Mutant Massacre. So yeah, but then the next crossover after this was Fall of the Mutants, and holy moly, that one just went to another stratosphere for me as far as crossover events. And then Inferno was great too. No. I wasn't even thinking about the multiverses. I was thinking about how everything is sucky and overpriced, as well as Disney's fierce gatekeeping of their IP. I mean, yeah, it's kind of sad. It is kind of sad. That's why I go back to this. This is why this was so appealing for me to go back and buy, because this was where my first love happened for comic stories. And you have to go back to it to remind yourself. Like you can go so far down the path. We get older, we see everything that's like just so much content thrown at us in entertainment, of like, this is a comic book, this is the next comic book, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like this is getting old. I'm getting so numb to this. It's all the same. But then when you go back in this, I'm like, this is so fresh, like really powerful storytelling. And it was done right. It wasn't perfect, but it was done well. They took their time. They really got you to like connect with the characters. And then when they put them through such traumatic stuff, you really feel it, so I highly recommend reading this series, Mutant Massacre, Fall of the Mutants, Inferno, all those kind of things. I highly recommend it if you are interested in like the kind of comics that I like, or want to understand where I came from with comics. 80s X-Men animated was cool, and they predicted Wolverine was going to be Australian in cinema. That's right. He had the craziest accent in that. Even though he was Canadian, he had an Australian accent. And then Hugh Jackman became Wolverine, the actor who's Australian. So yes, you're right. Congratulations. It was like 3 years ago now, and I don't even have a roller set since. All right, let's see. Nostalgia and good storytelling. There you go. There you go. Stupid Adobe and their student discount that they pretend they can't actually afford. Alan Lau, have you voted in the poll? My question is, I'm about to end this poll, is... Whoa, did it get brighter in here? I feel like it got brighter. My question in the poll was... Where's my poll? Oh, wait. Cover your ears, everybody. Sorry. What is the number one factor that attracts you to a comic book store? The depth of inventory, like having like a lot of the books that are coming out that week, variants, blah, 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 special issues. Comic book store conversations that you have, whether that's with the people there or the store owners, or back issues. Is that important to you? Did you vote, Alan Lau? I'm very curious what your opinion would be on that. And this is the number one factor, right? So all of these probably are in there or contribute to what would be the reason you would go to a specific comic book store. But what would you say is their number one factor? Mark says, oh, whoops. Mark says, back issues, Alan, don't tie it up. Yes, I forced you guys to choose one. That's kind of how it works. I voted for the comic store. What? Get out. I love Ish talking comics. I could see that. Alan Lau is such a social guy, too. I can see him loving that kind of stuff. All right, let's see. Where are we at? 14 votes. I'm about to close the poll. 43% have flipped to back issues. Back issues is the number one factor that attracts you to a comic book store. Number 2 is the inventory, variants, etc. 36% says that. And 21% say comic book store conversations. That's so awesome. That's great. That's super informative. And it makes you think, it makes you really... Because I jump around from different stores, it also like what my mindset is that day. So if I'm looking for example, like this week, variants, then I'll go to the store that has, the stock of the variants. I won't go to the other one that doesn't. Or if I don't know what I'm looking for and I just want to find something new, then maybe I'll go to that store that can have a good conversation with somebody and they can recommend something. Or if I know I just want to go in and out and I don't want to have a conversation, maybe I won't go to the one where I like to talk with a person. Or if there's a particular back issue I'm hunting for, then maybe I'll pick a specific store. So it really is, I guess it's a different mindset every week, but that's kind of what makes it fun. And if you are fortunate like me to have multiple stores you can choose from, then that's even better, that you can kind of pick and choose depending on how the week goes. They want you to feel guilty for their self-imposed charity to motivate you to buy their stuff full price when out of school. Oh, Adobe, yes. Kind of like that. Adobe is absolutely adorable if they think they'd get over $50 a month for their Creative Cloud for me. Rocky is now going to advise all his shop owner buddies to shut up and stock more. It makes a difference. And what era do you have? Are you taking up so much space of like the 2010s of back issues? Then I'm like, forget it. But if you got some gems from like old, like, dare I say 30 to 40 years ago, and you've got some gems in there, man, I could just be there all day. And you'd pay more for those older issues too. Oh wait, I said that right. Comics are indeed expensive. Would you say the quality of the work is greater compared to older comics? No, not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. There's some old books that might be cheaper, but I'd say are worth way more in quality than some of the newer books out. Like on average, what are the prices that are this week's books. $4. This one was a special cover. $5. $5 for Absolute. Oh my gosh. $5 for... Oh my gosh. $6. These books that I picked up, the new books that I picked up, are more expensive than the compilation of this Mutant Massacre. That's depressing. That is depressing. It will take him several... Having the inventory available to search through online is the key to maximize sales. I think that's right. Shelby brought that up earlier, and I think you are absolutely right. Mark's Music Session, kind of leveraging the online component to help move some of that back issue inventory. I think it would be great. The hard thing with any kind of inventory, any kind of collector's inventory, is where do you store all that stuff? Where do you have the room to carry back issues? And maybe arguably that's why a lot of the stores in San Francisco, where I live, don't have huge back issue, because real estate here, and to have a store that has a lot of storage space is unrealistic because it's so expensive to have a business here. So maybe that's why they just can't carry all that back issue inventory. You go farther out, like into the suburbs, they've got like closets or like storerooms full of their back issue boxes, and they can afford to carry that. So that might be another consideration. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969, right as we're ending. What's up, man?
How do you say monkey in French?
Good seeing you again. Hopefully you can go back and watch the rest of this the stream as I wrap up here. I think we're just want to make sure I didn't miss any extra stuff that I grabbed. Yeah. I'm debating. So for the next, I'm not shooting the bad. Whatever the next master study is going to be that I want you guys to vote on, I am debating that right now. I don't have a clear direction of which area I want to go to. I'm trying to think. Like, I got to think about like what's the best way to kind of put it out there of what's the next master study. I have some ideas, but I'm like, do I want to do that one? Could be more of the same, which would be great. I have a totally different direction to go, which could be another cool way to go. So yeah, let me figure that out before I present anything to you guys. But that will be probably the next. If I do get something out, it'll probably be before next Wednesday. If not, I'll see you guys again next week for my Wednesday comics. But yeah, I'm closing the poll here. Seems like back issues won 43%. Current inventory 36%. 21% comic store conversations. Thank you guys so much for voting. It's great conversation just to have and just to think about, just to ruminate. What makes a good comic book store? I think that I know a lot of people that, I think Adam too, who was in the chat earlier, I think a lot of people just buy their comics online. People just get digital comics too. So it's like they don't even walk into a comic book store anymore. They just get it digitally, which is kind of a shame. It's for me, it's so much part of the process, and it makes me excited to go out, as opposed to like, oh, cool, I can download the new issue on my iPad. Like, that's not that exciting. But going to the store and finding cool things, seeing people excited about it, kind of bumping shoulders and trying to make sure you get the issue before it runs out is kind of fun too. Like, I see it most happen in Frank's store, Amazing Fantasy, that when he opens those doors, there's people there waiting, and for the last few months, consistently there have been a crowd and a buzz around people just like getting their books, excited about their books. So that's cool. It's super fun. Alan now says Master Study 6 Bone. Actually, you suggested a certain direction to me, Alan Lau. I don't know if you remember, but you suggested something, and that's kind of, I'm thinking about it. Mr. Monkey Boy says Tintin. Oh, dang. Tintin. Emo Trust says, I'm still holding out on a Tim Burton master study. Oh my gosh. Hergé. Ugh. Jeez Louise. Mo Biggs got to hang out the whole time. That's right. Thank you for being here, Mo Biggs. Thank you all for being here. Everybody's saying hello. I mean, goodbye. Yes, Tintin, Lindsay Rose says. Oh boy. I don't know if I could do Tintin. Tintin's hard. Yeah, Thrill of the Buy. That's right. Okay, everybody. That's it. Thank you for hanging on with me. It was quite a yappening today. Quite a yapocalypse. But also that helps with the watch hours. So there's other motives there. But make sure you hit that like on the way out. Please tell everybody. Invite your friends. We need more people in here just to build up the audience as we have been. 566 subscribers. 300. What was it? What did I say? I'll give you guys the final number right here. Or the latest number. 2,953 watch hours. So 47 more watch hours till we hit 3,000. Then we're just going to go gangbusters. The yappening is just going to exponentially grow. It's going to be like super long talking. Yay. But yeah, it's going to be great. So help me out by spreading the word, hitting the like, subscribe. Go watch some old shows too, and we'll be in touch. I'll see you guys soon. Like I said, for the master study or whatever the next master study is, we'll be working on it. I'm still working on some edited content, non-live stream content as well. That's still on my plate, and then also the behind this, not the behind the scenes, but like the big part that's been taking up a lot of my brain is like what to do once we do hit those goals. How is this channel going to change? So I've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm excited to try and implement some new stuff. So stay tuned. See you guys later. Have a great Thursday and a great rest of your week. And I'll talk to you later. Ciao.